What's up, everyone, and welcome to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice-a-week all-sports podcast where myself, the Grumpy Old Man, and the magnificent Son X talk anything and everything sports. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
What was that, X? You trying to mimic me over there? Huh? Okay. And with us here also, co-host, an integral part of the podcast, the magnificent Son X.
X time, baby. And I just realized when penalties are called in rugby, they stole my thing.
Is that how penalties are indicated in
That's
rugby?
how penalties are called. They go like this right here. They say X time. That's what they say.
Oh, well, let me ask you this, X. Are you a big rugby guy?
No. Me and Grumpy actually just watched a little rugby game today. That was the first rugby game I've ever watched, or match, I should say. I don't even know what it's called.
It's a match. Were you watching for the World Cup?
Yes.
Who'd you guys watch?
It was New Zealand, and they were the All Blacks, and then South Africa was the other team.
Really good. Both really good, historically good teams too. Who won a pole away there, X?
What?
Who won?
Oh, well, I didn't watch the end. I just watched them bash into each other. We watched the first half, and then I flipped the Manchester United Manchester City game back on.
Oh man. But welcome, for those of you who are new to the channel, as I mentioned, a twice-a-week all-sports podcast. So we go live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, there's a few things I ask you to do. If you like this content, you got to make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of our further live streams and podcasts that we put out. And also hit the thumbs up button. If you hit the like button, apparently that helps the algorithm. It helps get this fun time of talking sports and shooting the shit out to the masses. So make sure you do those things, and you know, we'll be forever grateful. Isn't that right? But for today's episode, we've got quite a few things to talk about there, Grumpy Old Man and X. You know, we're going to go ahead and talk a little about, there have been some updates in the NFL, a hot week in the NFL. We've got here, some teams look like they are struggling. They're idling here is what I'd say, the best case scenario. We've got some college football updates, and I'll tell you, the college football playoff rankings come out, I think it's this Tuesday, right?
The Bowl Championship Series, I believe so.
That's right. The college football playoff rankings come out this Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. We've got here some NHL news, some World Series action to talk about as well. We've got a little bit of everything for today's show. So I hope you're ready. Hope you're strapped in. It's been a pretty big day around the NFL, guys. Let me first ask you about this. The 49ers have now lost 3 games in a row. Are we starting to hit the worry button on the 49ers?
Well, this is what happens when Tua is the quarterback and there's some injuries to your team, to your weapons. Just not that good anymore.
Hold on. Are you talking about Brock Purdy? Because you said Tua.
What's the difference?
They're both game managers.
They're the same guys.
Oh,
Mac Jones, Tua.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, the future Hall of Famer, had a pretty good day today with 3 interceptions.
All I remember was the last thing I heard, he never lost a game. Well, now he's lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
3 regular season games in a row. So
I mean, like, let me ask you, I don't know if you said the question. Are you starting to worry just quite for the 49ers?
No.
I think they really miss Deebo Samuel.
I do too.
I think he's pivotal to their offense. He just is. Right now it's McCaffrey and
Kittle.
A little bit of Kittle and Ayuk. But you got the quarterback isn't that great. Things have to be really good for him to be successful. He's just not that good. He's serviceable. That's what Brock Purdy is. He's serviceable.
And I will say this, right?
He's not winning games by himself. Just not.
The Bengals were coming off of a bye, if I remember correctly, right?
No.
Oh, they were not coming off a bye. I thought last week was a bye for the Bengals.
Oh, maybe it was. I think they're 4-3. Isn't that the same?
Last week was a bye for the Bengals.
They're 4-3 this year right now.
Okay, so they've had their bye. Okay.
Yep.
So that the reason I was mentioning that is because, right, I'm not giving and trying to build in excuses for the 49ers, right? They've lost 3 weeks in a row. They were playing a Bengals team who was struggling a bit, who did have an extra week off and an extra week of rest. before they played the 49ers.
The Bengals are back in form. Joe Burrow, you could tell he was running around a lot more this game than he has all season. He looked like Joe Burrow.
Big Dick Joe.
Yep. Joe Shiesty.
Hold on, Joe Shiesty?
Yeah, Joe Shiesty.
Did you do the telling us about, the podcast and how you need to hit the like button and stuff? Did you do that?
Like and subscribe, follow.
Yes, Grumpy. We already did that. Do you not pay attention when I speak?
I don't, but I didn't think you talked about that today.
Yes, Grumpy. We did.
Did he talk about that, X? Did he put it up on the screen? What to do?
I don't remember. He's a loser. I don't remember.
Jesus. Grumpy just doesn't do much paying attention. What game are you watching right now, Grumpy? You must be
watching TJ. Here's the game. TJ pretending he knows how to run a podcast.
Grumpy getting ready to watch Sunday Night Football is what it's got to be. Yes, we mentioned though, right? If you like the content, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You hit the like button, just to cover my bases in case we didn't, but to hit the like button as well, right? Because that lets us know you like the content we put out, and apparently it helps the algorithm. I want to go ahead and mention this though. 49ers struggling. I don't know. I'm not hitting the panic button quite yet, but they need to redirect. They've struggled these last few weeks. Deebo Samuel, even when he was healthy, was not making as big of an impact as you would anticipate Deebo Samuel to have made.
I disagree.
Here's the thing. When they have Deebo Samuel out there on the field, wow, holy shit, it's a nice catch. When they have Deebo Samuel out there on the field, it takes away defenders that are covering McCaffrey and that are covering Kittle. It opens play up a lot more.
He's an integral. He makes that offense hum. His ability to run and catch passes and make yards after catch.
More the thing I'm worried about for the 49ers is their defense. That's more what I'm worried about, right? It's like you look, they lost a game against the Browns. They did have a great performance defensively. They had, right? That was one that was completely on the offense. Whatever. Walker or Dorian Thompson threw like 3 picks, and they still found a way to lose that game. That was all on the offense. That was all on their inability to move the football, inability to win drives. They got beat by the Vikings, and they pretty much just controlled clock. They controlled it. They got out in front and controlled the whole game. The 49ers had a little bit of a gasp of hopefully breath at the end of the game. But today, I mean, the Bengals offense is good. They've yet to hit stride at all really this season. They come out and they hit stride against the 49ers. The 49ers defense is always stout. So I'm like, for them to, I don't know. This is the first time they've given up 30 points all year long.
But they turned the ball over how many times?
When Purdy, I think, had three interceptions that game.
2 picks.
Oh, 2 picks. Okay.
He turned the ball over
one of them was a great play. One of them was a great play by the defender.
Threw right at him.
Okay. The point is, when you keep on putting your defense back on the field, they're going to get more worn down. They're getting in short field situations. It's not like they turned it over like inside the Cincinnati 10-yard line. They would turn it over, but they were turning the ball over in their own territory. That leads to points. And I'm not saying that they were great today. Cincinnati's back. That's what I get from today. Cincinnati's back. Cincinnati is a team that they start off poorly every year, but by the end of the season, they're playing extremely well. You're seeing it again. You're seeing Burrow fully back now, where he's able to run the ball. I don't know how many runs he had today. Designed runs, quarterback draws up the middle, scrambles. He's got full mobility in that ankle and that foot now.
Calf.
Watch out for Cincinnati the rest of the way.
One thing I will say is they definitely, and I mean definitely, need to have a good week this upcoming week. They play the Bills. Now, the Bills have kind of struggled on and off, but I'm like, you look at the schedule, the Bengals don't have an easy schedule per se, right? You've got today, which we'll talk about here in a second. The Chiefs drop a game against, I'd say, one of the worst defenses in the NFL against the Denver Broncos. Well, yeah, the Denver Broncos are going to probably finish with 5 wins. They've got 3 wins already. They're at least finishing with 5 wins this season. I would have said after the Miami loss that they were the worst team in the NFL, but then they found a way to beat the Bears, I believe. They beat the 49ers. I don't know. I can't give them the designation of the worst team in the league just quite.
Yeah. Were you talking about Kansas City? Is that what you're talking
about? Denver. I said Denver.
Okay, I don't care about Denver. Denver sucks. Okay.
Yes, he was talking about how Kansas City lost to Denver today.
Okay. Kansas City. Maybe they're not that good. I've been saying it all year. Yes, I know they were 6-1, now 6-2. They're another team like a team down south who hasn't beaten anybody good. Anytime they come up against a good team, they lose. So, and today they lost to a bad team. Patrick Mahomes, is he good? Is he a good quarterback? Absolutely, he's a good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? He's a good quarterback. Is he the greatest of all time? Absolutely not. Not even close. So I just want everyone to pump the brakes on Patrick Mahomes. You see what it's like when he doesn't have weapons? You see how Kelsey has slowed down a little bit this year? His wide receivers have dropped a couple of balls. He's still elusive in the pocket, but you know what? Let's just pump the brakes on Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck.
So another funny thing.
Hold on. Before we jump all the way in there, I did want to wrap up the 49ers game, but X, make your point. I want to get back to show this.
Say, a funny thing that Grumpy mentioned, that if you look at the statistics that Patrick Mahomes, who's supposedly on an MVP season, has compared to Russell Wilson, their stats are extremely close.
Yes.
To each other.
That has been made. That point has been made. We're going to cover that today too. That point's been made up.
And, I'm sorry. Go ahead, TJ.
Oh, finish what you want to do. I want to talk about the 49ers, wrap them up, then jump a little bit because I have a few things I want to show on the on the Chiefs. I don't just want to forget about this, right? Because the Bengals defense stepped up to the call today too. Now, X seemed to downplay this interception. I thought this was one of the better interceptions for a big guy in close range like that, and I wanted to highlight it. I mean,
it's like an RPO, but what
that
play by Pratt to get his hand up.
I'm sorry, right? This is one of the picks that Brock Purdy threw.
If he stays in bounds.
That's a hell of a job, point blank, and a great reaction after he got that big mid on there. He swatted the ball down, and he makes the interception. That's a great.
It was honestly a lucky play.
It was a great play by the Bengals. It
was good. I'm not saying it wasn't a good play. I'm just saying it was lucky.
But I'm saying that's one of Brock Purdy's interceptions. I thought Purdy struggled a little bit the last few games. I didn't really think he struggled by that much today.
Really?
I didn't think he struggled that much.
Okay.
He had 3 turnovers.
Well, here's the thing.
2 turnovers.
TJ, he had 3 turnovers.
2 picks and a fumble?
Yeah. Here's
3.
the thing. TJ, he didn't think he played that poorly because that's the way Kenny Pickett plays. And that's what he's used to watching. So he doesn't think
By the way, TJ, how's Kenny Pickett doing?
Pickett didn't throw any turnovers, so Grumpy just must not be paying any attention.
No, you're right. He's just throwing his wheelchair down the sidelines because he got injured today.
We'll be talking about that. Don't worry.
10 points in a game isn't good enough.
Yeah, he didn't play, but he played less than a half. I'm not sure what you want him to do.
He only put up 3 points.
He played less than a half of football.
Okay.
What do you want him to do, Grump?
Okay, well, Mitch Trubisky came in and threw a touchdown pass.
And then threw 2 picks.
Sounds like
I don't know, Grumpy. Again, one guy played less than a half, and you're okay. Let's try to keep things somewhat segmented here, huh, Grumpy?
Okay, but here's
Brock Purdy, did he fumble the football? I thought he only had 2 turnovers.
He had 3 turnovers today. 3.
Anyway, I do want to mention this. I don't think I don't have an issue with him. I think that, is he a quarterback? Is he fantastic? Absolutely not. I think he's an above average QB. That's about it.
Above average? I think he's average. He's average. He's an average quarterback. He's middle of the. He's not going to win you games. He's not going to win you games. To me, the biggest thing out of today, Cincinnati's back. Cincinnati will beat Buffalo next week. Book it.
Think so?
Book it. Cincinnati's a well-balanced team. Buffalo is Josh Allen and the Jags. That's what they are. They've just poorly put together. They go as far as Josh Allen takes them. I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league. I really do. Yes, he occasionally does too much where he'll turn the ball over. It's because he has nothing to work with. No running game. He's got 1 wide receiver. Occasionally, Gabe Davis will show up once, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. But I think Cincinnati's really good. They're a balanced football team. I like Cincinnati.
I don't know. I still think they have holes on the team. Don't trust me. I don't have any issues with Cincinnati. I think it's still, when we look at Cincinnati in the totality, what's probably going to happen is the Chiefs probably still win the conference, right? You feel confident saying that?
Who wins conference?
The Chiefs still win conference. Do you feel confident?
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Absolutely
do.
not. No way. Chiefs are not winning conference. Absolutely not. They're not good enough. They will lose to Buffalo. They will lose to Cincinnati. They will not beat either one of those. Kansas City's not that good.
Will they lose to
haven't-
Miami this next week?
Kansas, they might beat Miami because Miami's another paper tiger. Perhaps. You're going to find out about Miami next Sunday morning. You're going to find
I'm
out
sick
about
and tired
Miami.
of saying that. I'm sick and tired of saying you'll find every time they play a tough team, they lose. And now the only tough team we can compare them to is a team that's playing 7 time zones away. I'm sorry. No, even the result of next week's game does not change my opinion. Whether Miami wins or loses, those UK games are a complete toss-up. The thing that I'll base my prediction and my viewpoint on Miami was they got absolutely throttled by Buffalo, and they got throttled by the Eagles. They only beat the shitty teams, and that's it. I don't care what it looks like there in the UK. I don't expect much.
Kansas City has beaten 2 teams with a winning record this year. They beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's rolling now too, by the way. And you see, Jacksonville is another team like Cincinnati. A lot of weapons. They don't do the same thing every week. They're tough to defend. Their defense is pretty good, right? And then they beat the Jets, okay? And the game maybe they didn't deserve to win, but still they won that game. Other than that, they lost to Detroit. They beat Jacksonville and then the Jets, like I said. They beat Chicago really bad. Minnesota, who, come on, they were terrible till 2 weeks ago. Then they're going to be done again. Denver, and then Los Angeles, the Chargers. I mean, they haven't played. They have a tough round schedule coming up. Miami, Philadelphia, then they got Vegas and Green Bay, Buffalo, New England, Vegas, Cincinnati. Then they got the Chargers again. I mean, they got a pretty breezy schedule. The one thing in Kansas City's benefit is the fact that they have games. All their tough games are at home, all of them.
I will say whoever gets home field advantage in the conference usually wins, right? The only team, whoever wins the conference as well, is the only team that gets the bye with the Super Sunday weekend or the Super Wild Card weekend bullshit now. So it's only one team gets the bye.
Talk about the NFL using COVID to their advantage. It made them expand the playoffs, add another team to the playoffs, and this way they will get more money by using COVID, and they never went back to the way it was. Disgraceful.
This is something I wanted to mention.
Here's what I think they should do. How about cutting the playoffs to 6 teams? 6 teams, and everybody. Well, I guess you can't have 6. All right, forget it.
Yeah,
forget it.
let's just
create another freaking division. There you go. Create another division.
Let's not try to reinvent the wheel, Grump. Travis Kelce. I thought this is interesting. Looking at his numbers of how he plays with Taylor Swift in attendance versus without Taylor Swift in attendance. Do you find that coincidental?
Yes.
X, what do you think here, buddy?
What's
going on?
Touchdown, Austin Eckler. Sorry. I haven't been fancy.
What are you, X? What are you doing, X?
I'm just saying,
your attention for the show?
Grumpy wanted to talk shit. I made a trade for Austin Eckler. You wanted to talk shit, said it wasn't a good trade. Austin Eckler's back. That's all I'm going to say.
You overpaid.
Eckler's back.
I said. You overpaid.
Eckler's back, baby.
You overpaid.
Can we get you to focus for like 10 seconds, please?
You find it interesting that it seems like the Taylor Swift games that she's attended are usually the home games that he manages to play a little bit better in those games, probably because he gets the calls.
I'm not, I will say this. I'm not sure he gets a call. I did just think it was funny that was the case. Mahomes threw 2 picks today too. He
played like shit today.
I will give him this, right? I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not going to be overly critical of him. He was feeling under the weather, but here's the thing. This Patrick Mahomes, him not having Tyreek Hill, I think has made him human. You look at what the perception of him was 2 years ago. This is like, oh my gosh, he's one of the greatest that's ever been a quarterback. He's so fantastic. He's a GOAT. That's what all the conversation was around Patrick Mahomes. And you lose Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce gets a little bit older, and it's like you look more and more human game to game.
Okay.
Did you not? What you have no thoughts on that?
About him
I've
looking
heard-
more.
Are you
human.
not fucking listening, Grump?
Okay,
What's going on, man? What?
He doesn't have a guy who has over 1,000 yards in the first 8 games, and then Travis Kelce is banged up. He had that injury this year, and he's a lot slower. I mean, he did it without Hill last year, but still the same thing. I just don't think that team's very good.
You realize I addressed that point earlier in the podcast. That everything you just said, I just addressed. It has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It's the fact that he doesn't have the weapons.
I didn't say it did. Holy shit!
Well, I just don't know why I don't need to comment on that. I already did. They're not that good. Kansas City's not that good. Okay. They're
They
not
played
blowing
all
teams out.
their
They're
shit
not-
I wasn't
teams.
talking about Kansas City. I was talking about Patrick Mahomes.
I already talked
compared
about
You
him
compared
too.
him to Brady. I'm saying this, Grump. I'm saying I'm giving him more credit than you do. You're shitting on his day,
No, I'm not.
right?
I said
He's a good quarterback.
He's a really good
One of
He's
the
quarterback.
not as good as
quarterbacks-
Josh Allen. He's not the
He's
best.
not as good as Josh Allen.
He's better than Josh Allen.
No, he's not.
Josh Allen doesn't have the weapons that he's
Josh
had.
Allen has better weapons right now than Patrick Mahomes.
Bullshit.
What do you mean bullshit? They've got a
He's-
better
He is
defense.
Stephon Diggs, and then finally just found a tight end in Dalton Kincaid.
They've got Gabe Davis. Who you seem
Gabe
to
Davis is not shit.
He'll show up one or two
games
a
a
year.
season. That's it.
2-3. That's it for him. He's
Do you know?
he's a
Can
number
you
two.
name me? Can you name me Patrick Mahomes' weapons?
McCole Harmon, Valdez
McCole-
Scantley, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore.
Do you? Okay.
Okay,
You notice something? What you're saying? These guys are all
He's got
like.
Stephon Diggs, and that's it.
here's the difference.
Stephon Diggs.
Here's the difference. Buffalo still scores points. Kansas City's not scoring
Oh,
points.
and not to mention he's got a better running back than freaking Buffalo. Buffalo has
Absolutely.
with Isaiah Pacheco.
That's right. And
James
here's
Cook is not as good as Isaiah Pacheco is.
okay.
You
but
don't watch
here-
enough of the games.
here's the other thing. He's got Andy Reid as his offensive coordinator / head coach. They don't have that in Buffalo. It's Josh Allen left, Josh Allen right, or Josh just run around and hope somebody gets open and throw the ball down the field.
That's
That's
self.
their offense.
It's self-inflicted, Grump. Josh Allen doesn't have to do that. He tries to overextend. He's the problem. Josh Allen is his
No,
own
you're
worst
crazy.
enemy.
You're crazy.
Absolutely is.
You're wrong.
If you
You're
put
wrong.
Patrick Mahomes on that Buffalo team, they have a Super Bowl. Josh Allen doesn't. Very simple. He
I
doesn't.
disagree. I disagree.
Josh Allen's got a
Patrick
better
Mahomes-
line. They've got
They
a better
have no running game.
They've got a
No,
better
because you
defense.
know what would happen? You know what would happen, TJ? They would go ahead and leave 50 yards and play prevent offense and give up a field goal at the end of the game to lose. That's what they do.
I'm telling you, Josh Allen is a freaking choke artist. He's nowhere near as close. And again, you're making me defend Patrick Mahomes, and I'm like,
He's an
Is
average
he's-
quarterback this year. Without the weapons, he's an average quarterback this year.
he's less than what he was perception
Look at
wise.
the numbers. Just look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers. That's all you need to do. Just look at the numbers. Their system is way better than Buffalo's system. Josh Allen's their leading rusher. Josh Allen is the whole attack for them. Patrick Mahomes
Well, you think
is
you
nowhere
think
near
hold on.
the physical specimen that Josh Allen is. He couldn't get those. He'd pick up those 7-yard runs, getting hit by 3 or 4 guys. He's just not capable. It's not his skill set. I'm not putting Mahomes down, but Mahomes would be suffering worse than Allen if he was in Buffalo.
Josh Allen is not the leading rusher for the Bills, and not even close. He's 300 yards behind the leading rusher. I knew as soon as he said it that was just a BS lie. James Cook, that you're shitting all over, he's got 500 yards rushing this season. I'm sorry.
He's not good.
He's not.
Okay, what about the Reds? How many touchdowns do you have this year? How many touchdowns do you have this
He's
year?
on track to over
How many
1,000
touchdowns
yards
does he
rushing.
have this year? How many touchdowns?
He's on
How many
track to over
touchdowns?
1,000 yards
How
rushing.
many touchdowns does he have this year?
He's got a touchdown rushing.
One fucking touchdown all year. Exactly. Because when they get to the red zone, they can't do shit because they don't have a guy who can.
They
slam
don't have a
it
guy
in.
who can run
It's
the ball.
Josh Allen.
They cannot run the ball consistently. They cannot do it.
When it's short and goal, They're just doing a QB sneak up the middle. Just like with, let me ask you this. Do you say the Eagles don't have a rushing weapon? No, they do. They have DeAndre Swift. But guess what? When they need to earn 2 yards on 4th and goal or 3rd and goal, they're doing a tush push. That's what they're doing. Just like the freaking Jets or just like the Bills do. Josh Allen up the middle on a QB sneak. He's got 5 touchdowns this year. Josh Allen, QB sneak in the middle. That's how they score when they get low.
They roll Josh Allen out. They have Josh Allen will be running inside the 10. Josh Allen is the offense for that team. End of sentence, end of story.
He only has 36 rushes this year. He's got 36.
How many yards of rushing does he have?
189.
So he's averaging 6 yards a carry.
5.3. That's a good
As
try.
a running quarterback.
5.3.
Pretty good.
James Cook is averaging 4.8 yards rushing a game or rushing an
With
attempt.
1 touchdown.
Okay.
With 1
He
touchdown.
doesn't control when he gets the ball, my friend.
Look, they bring
He's
in
not-
Latavius Murray to run the ball. He's not capable of doing it. They'll bring in Latavius Murray to come in and rush the ball. Because Allen's not the guy. They're not quarterbacks sneaking him. They bring Latavius Murray in. Guess what? He'll get stuffed at the line, and then he'll say, hey, Josh, you do it. And then Josh does it. They try to give other guys chances. They just can't do it. You can't do these things, Nemo.
Josh Allen reminds me a lot of Matt Barzal. When he keeps things simple, he plays well. When he tries to overdo shit, he's not good. Simple.
That's what happens when it's Josh Allen left. That's not him. That's them drawing up that play. It's like they're drawing up plays in the dirt up there in the press box. That's what it's like. You're the bottle cap. You're the stick. You're the straw.
I'm gonna tell you, just because people try to compare Patrick Mahomes to Tom Brady, Grumpy hates Mahomes. That's why he hates
I don't
Brock
hate
Purdy.
Mahomes.
That's why he hates Brock Purdy too.
All I'm saying is,
Yep.
for all the Patrick Mahomes lovers, and there are a couple who listen to this show, he's not all that in a bag of chips. He's just
He's a
not.
first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to have to play quite a bit longer to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, bro.
Stop.
Do you think I'm not telling this?
Don't worry. He only needs 2 more careers to hit Tom Brady. 2 more first ballot Hall of Fame careers. Because Brady's had 3 throughout his 1 career.
Of what?
In his
Hall
20s,
of Fame,
30s, and
Hall of Fame
40s.
careers.
He's had 3 Hall of Fame careers.
You
in
can only have
one
one
guy.
Hall of Fame career. Anyway, yeah, Patrick Mahomes can be a first ballot guy, just like Tom Brady's a first ballot guy. That's simple.
Well, of course, the greatest player of all time should be.
Here, let's get some comments.
Whoosh.
TJ late again. Never change.
That's true.
Joseph C says, glad we beat the Giants, but holy crap, both teams are an offensive mess. That's a miserable game. Can you imagine paying money to go see that game? Ironic that there was all the talk about how the Jets should get Cousins, only for him to tear his Achilles too. Yeah.
I mean, X, we're not okay, buddy. We're not going to talk about the Jets, X. That's usually a good segue into talk about the Jets and the Giants game.
Watch out,
I
X.
guess
He's
that's
on
a
a
good. It's a good.
He's on a
segue.
tyrannical tear.
He's on a tyrannical tear. I like
It's
that.
Look out!
I'm talking
Okay.
to two morons. You know what I can't wait to talk about? College football. And I can't wait to talk about a certain team that has a Sooner associated with them, to talk about them today.
Uh-oh, here
What
we
a
go.
great
we
thing they had.
go.
Don't worry,
Let's
that,
talk about
don't worry,
Pittsburgh.
don't worry, that's coming up. Don't worry, that's
We'll
coming
talk
up.
about how good Pittsburgh is. What's their
OU,
ranking?
OU,
What are they ranked?
For you, don't worry. That's
they
coming
ranked?
up today.
Where's
So
who
make
they
sure to
lose
keep
to this
your ass
week?
in check. Hey, make sure to keep your ass in check there, X. That's
Who'd they
coming up
lose to
today.
this week?
That's coming up
Oh,
today.
wait.
They lost to a ranked team, unlike Oklahoma. That's coming up today. Don't
That's
you
all
worry.
right.
man.
At least Oklahoma.
I
is
will
ranked.
say this: when
At
we're
least
looking
Oklahoma's
here,
been ranked this year.
cool. When we're looking here, when's the last time Oklahoma won a conference? Okay, let's move on. Grumpy, when we're looking here,
2 years ago?
same time as Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I don't know. A lot to hang your hat on.
When was
with
the last time
mediocre
Pittsburgh made it
performance.
to the playoffs?
Never.
When's the last
Never
time
mind.
Oklahoma won a championship?
2000?
No, they didn't. They lost to LSU.
Yeah. No, they
No.
won in 2000.
No, they beat Florida State 1 year.
Okay, so back in the 90s. right?
2000.
2000.
Nice try.
2000.
2000. 2000. Yes.
When was the last time Pitt won one?
1979.
84, Grumpy.
84. Damn.
It's in the 80s.
1979.
Before you were born.
Was it 79 or was it the 80s?
It was 1979.
They are an 8-time national champion. So more national
They're
championships.
not
than
8-time
Oklahoma.
national
won.
They're
champions.
9. They're actually 9-time national
Okay.
champions.
Oklahoma's a 7-time national champion.
Here's the thing. None of those championships count where they only had 4 schools. They don't count.
Grumpy, 9-time national champions. I don't make up the rules. I don't make up the numbers.
No, you are. Once
there.
again, you're typical.
You're there, Grumpy. 9-time national champions.
You're
You know what?
you're
Not
trying to
everybody can live up to
You're
it.
trying to manipulate the rules. They just said, "Oh, well, they didn't have anything back then, so we'll just say we're national champions." They suck.
You know what I think
You know
we
what?
should do? I think we should get some more comments.
I think we should talk about the Jets and the Giants game, X.
That's fine. Let's
The
do
Giants
that.
sucked ass and blew the win.
Okay, I want to talk about the Giants and the Jets.
X apparently doesn't because he's going to be too busy watching effing TV. Why don't you keep your eyes on us, X?
Austin Eckler, baby, he's back. That's all I'm gonna say.
I hope Austin Eckler, for your sake, blows. I hope he gets a hernia, X, so he can't play any more football for a little while. X, just to screw you over, right?
Tyrod Taylor gets hurt in the second quarter, and they bring in Tommy DeVito, who doesn't complete a pass until overtime. The Giants threw for -7 yards today. Darren Waller went out. Let me ask you a question. Who are they going to bring in to play tight end next week? Is it going to be Jimmy Conway? Is it going to be Henry Hill? Who's it going to be? That's what happens when Tommy DeVito is your quarterback.
So Daniel Jones, why is he still banged up?
He's hurt.
Didn't he? What was it?
He's got a disc. He's got that disc injury. I thought he was supposed to be back yet.
Well, you know what? Backs are tricky things.
They expect him to miss one more week. Okay. I don't know. It's just weird. I'll tell you this. The Giants are, they're miserable. Just like I told you last year, the best case scenario for them would have been to suck ass the first year so they could have drafted a legitimate quarterback.
You know
now
what the
they
worst
get to
thing about
suck-
this is? It's affecting Grumpy's fantasy team.
Now they get
on Barkley.
Now they get to suck this year and still draft a quarterback.
Yeah. I will say this. Barkley, waste. How does he look so far this year?
Good. He's looked
Above
good.
average. Above average.
He's a good back. He's a really good back behind a poor offensive line and no quarterback with no wide receivers. He's a good player. I know you don't like him.
They've got the
He's a
best
good
right
player,
tackle
though.
in the game. They got the
You're a
best right
fool.
tackle in the
You're
game.
a fool. You're a fool. He's a really good player. We don't
Ugh.
need to go down. We don't need to go down this road again.
Is the end right here to Tyrod Taylor. I'll let you look at it. I'm not sure if you both saw it, but oh my God.
Is
it's
it
like a
gross? If
comedy.
it's gross, I'm not watching it.
It's not gross. It's a comedy of errors. And I mean, it's completely self-inflicted. Oh, his hand breaks, I think. What does it break? Whoop.
I'm not watching this shit if he blows out his knee.
I think he breaks his hand. Let me see
He
here.
fumble dumps the ball.
I'm not watching that shit.
Oh, it's
You don't
definitely
see it.
being bent. Yeah, it's bent the wrong way, his hand. Oof.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, I don't wanna watch it.
oh, God in heaven. Turn that shit off, DJ.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. He's definitely got his hand all bent up.
Oh, I'm not watching that.
Anyway, look at it's like a comedy of errors, though. He's like he fumbles the football.
Dude, can we
As he's
please
trying to
not
make a-
watch a guy just snap his freaking hand?
I won't show that portion there.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to watch that.
Anyway,
He got hurt.
He like fumbles the ball as he's about to throw it, fumbles it to himself. He picks it up, but then he gets banged up. So, what the Giants' options are limited.
He
At
got
best.
Danny DeVito at quarterback.
The shit. He kind of looks just as bad as you would imagine Danny DeVito to look out there in the field. The Jets, I mean, how did the Jets not come away with a more comfortable victory than an overtime win against the miserable Giants?
Because they're not very good.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're horrible offensively. So are the Jets. And for me, the Giants should be looking at quarterbacks in the offseason, right?
Yep.
Okay, they didn't get a quarterback last year. Big deal. They'll get one this year. They're going to be one of the 2 worst teams in the league when all is said and done. Chicago's already elevated above them. The Panthers will elevate above them. It's Arizona and the Giants who are going to be the 2 worst teams in the league.
Did you see Arizona get screwed over today? They
didn't deserve to win that game. They didn't deserve to win that game. They were outplayed.
There's
They
a
didn't
big
get screwed.
there's a big conspiracy, Grumpy. You don't even know what I'm talking about here. And that's why I was asking if you saw it. I was thinking you did or did not. They screwed them over on the spot of a ball, which was, I'd say, egregious. Now, I'll let you discern this information how you will. This is what, right? You can see the ball. We can all see it right here on the screen on the line, about halfway over the line, wouldn't we say?
Yes.
This was on 4th down. It's 7-7 at this point for Arizona. They went for it on 4th. And this is what
It's the
happens.
second quarter. 8 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Look at this. This, you could see where the orange marker is. That orange marker looks on the line of scrimmage, right? Let's take a watch a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know why he moved the
What
ball.
the They even say it on telecast. He just moved the ball. There's Tony Romo saying, I've never seen that before in my life. What is this about?
Maybe the NFL will come out tomorrow and say, I mean, they're walking it out. Oh no, they're walking it back to get measured. I don't know what they do.
They ruled it 4th down and they moved it. They ruled it. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like that before.
Because they were taking the chain off the field. So they must have measured anyway. Or maybe they realized that they didn't spot it correctly. And the guy said, no, the ball, this is where it needs to be spotted. They're talking to the other ref. I don't know what.
Okay, here's the thing. The guys are on the field. I don't know. It's just an odd one. It's an odd one. I've never seen them move the ball back half a yard from where it's spotted. I mean, that looks like a first down. No. The only reason I'm saying is because you could see the orange tape here.
But did they not measure that? Did they not just measure it before then?
I'll try to get the full video. Goodness gracious. It looks very suspicious. That's all I'm saying. And they talked about it as well. But I mean, like it's just suspicious. That's all. The initial spot was correct. Oh, here it is. Oh, I'm sorry. And here's the updated spot. It was on 4th down. They ruled this short. This is it right here. So that was before they brought out the line. The judge. So they had the ball placed down. They were bringing the actual chains out. They went ahead and moved the ball back, and the chains were walking. They're like, oh, we didn't have the spot right. So here that is. This is 4th down.
He didn't get there. He did not get to the line. He was already down. He's already down when he reaches the hand down. He's already down. He's already down.
He's not down. Boom, first down.
He is down. His hip is down. Absolutely. He didn't make it. Did not make the line to gain.
I don't know. Call me crazy. When you spot it out there, you can't just go ahead and just change the spot if you feel like it. Can't do that.
Somebody moved it ahead of time. He was like, well, that's not where the spot should have been.
I'm sorry. You're not going to catch much slack from me on there. I thought that was a little suspicious. That's all. I guess you guys don't. That's fine. But we get back to more comments. I did want to mention that because the Cardinals, they're bad, right? The big news is Kyler Murray's trying hard to get back. And I think X has mentioned this last week. He's trying hard to get back there and to get healthy, I guess, to try to sabotage their ability to draft the number 1 overall pick and a quarterback like Caleb Williams, perhaps, and replace Kyler Murray.
Gungun says, TJ, to salute a totally crap Jets performance despite somehow winning, can you please play the Drunken Namath soundbite in tribute?
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
There it is. That's for you there, Gungun. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Joseph C. says, I am glad the NFC seems wide open with the 49ers losing 3 games in a row. Also glad that despite this, the Cowboys will still lose in the divisional round. I don't know I don't think the Eagles are that good. As a matter of fact, I don't
either.
I think the NFL in general is
down
this year.
Yep.
I think it's because of the lack of practice time. I just think that's it. The lack of practice, the lack of preseason has hurt the league. You're seeing defenses now. You're seeing a lot more clutching and grabbing in the backfield, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. Just either call it all the time or don't call it all. I saw plays today where guys had their arms wrapped around wide receivers in the end zone with officials looking right at them, no call. And then you'll get a touch foul in certain games. I'm like, come on, guys. Just stop.
As I said, time to get rid of the human official. Get rid of them.
I disagree.
They're too old. They're part of the senior citizen club. You know what? Why don't you have some 30-something-year-old guys go out there and do it then? They have better vision than these guys who are in their 60s and 70s, and they can see the play better. But no, we got to stay with the senior citizen club as opposed to having people who can actually see.
Don't worry, we'll talk about officiating because they'll make a little pop up in today's show. The Cowboys, they're still a flawed team. I mean, that's the best way to put it. You know, they won today, and Dak Prescott goes off. Dak Prescott is obviously not the answer in Dallas, right?
Not to win a Super Bowl now.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can win a Super Bowl with him, but you have to have a lot of things going right. Let me just put it to you that way. A lot of
He
things.
seems to always choke.
I think he's above guys like Purdy and Mac Jones and
Sure.
that ilk, but he's right in there with Tua. Guys like that. Maybe top 10, maybe.
Speaking of guys who are top 10, you saw, Kirk Cousins, you mentioned earlier. We'll talk about that in a second. Oh my God. Ugh.
Comment
Messi.
from Lionel Andres Messi, the greatest of all time. CJ Stroud revenge mission against the Panthers, not taking him number 1 overall, didn't go as planned. Notre Dame causing Pitt quarterback to throw 4 interceptions Saturday. TJ being right about his quarterbacks again, like always.
Yeah, again.
And
I
I
could
wanna-
tell. Good.
I'd like to touch base real quick, TJ, then I'll let you go. Bryce Young, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Bryce Young is the answer for the Panthers. He is so calm under pressure. You're seeing as he's getting more into this offense, he's getting better and better each week. He was really, really good today. He's a good quarterback. You put some weapons around him, and I'll tell you what, he's going to be one of the top 5 guys in the league. You got to put weapons around him.
Wow.
He has all the intangibles. He's
I know
really,
TJ's
really good.
I know TJ's probably going to get to it also, but his name, all I have to say is the guy I thought was going number 1 looked like number 1 today. That's all I'm going to say.
We've got him. We'll talk about Will Levis here in a second. That being said, right, I think Stroud's the better quarterback than Bryce Young. Please.
He's not.
My
He's
God,
not.
He is.
He's
He
not.
is.
If he was, he would have beat him today.
Oh my God. I've never seen a guy glorify a team and a guy who's 1-7.
He's one guy to throw the ball to, and he's 33 years old, DJ.
Okay. I'm gonna let
I'm
you know.
not-
something.
All I'm
Who
talking
does-
about,
Who is there? What targets are there in Houston?
Nico
Nico
Collins.
Collins tanked
Tank
down.
Dell.
What did Nico Collins do last year? Can you tell me that?
It's his second
The
year in
answer
the
is
league.
not
He was
much.
a rookie last year.
He was a rookie last year.
Okay. I'm
How
gonna
many
say
rookie
that
wideouts
Collins
come out and
Davis
just
Mills.
ball out like crazy? How many?
I'm gonna say
How
the
does Zay Flowers look this year?
pretty decent.
Probably on Nico Collins' numbers last year.
Look at this shit. I'll pull it. Nico Collins is okay. That's all I'm going to say. He wasn't like, oh man, this guy's blowing people away. He was okay. Last year, think about this. No, it's his 3rd year in the league. His first 2 years, his first year in the league, he had 446 receiving yards. Last year, he had 481 receiving yards. This
Look
year,
at who he had throwing the ball to
577.
him. Look at who he had
That
throwing the ball to
is
him.
my point. You have to be a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. CJ Stroud is a good quarterback, which is why you see Nico Collins not even halfway into the season putting up career numbers.
Look
It's
at
not
Adam
because
Thielen's
Nico
numbers.
Collins, a 3rd year, determined to work out hard in the offseason. It's because they actually have a quarterback now.
Look up Adam Thielen's numbers.
So Adam Thielen's putting up a career year this year. Is it because of the quarterback?
It's not a career, is it?
Absolutely, it is.
A shitload of yards and receptions this year. A shit ton.
He's got to be top 5 in the league in catches and yards this year.
57 receiving yards, 581 yards. Okay, back in 2018, he had 113 receptions for 1,373 yards.
He's
He's
not
not
even-
having a career year.
He's not even past half the year yet.
Grumpy.
They've only
How
played
many
7
have they
games.
played?
They've only played 7 games.
Because they had a bye.
And he's averaging less than 100 yards a game. Well less. Here's the thing, Grumpy. Look at the numbers. The number 57 receptions, 581 yards in 7 games. Back in 2018, 113 receptions, 1,373 yards, right? He was 200, right? That back in 2018, that was when the season was only 16 games long. He was only 227 yards off of 100 receiving yards a game, right? He's not having a career year. He's having a good year, a resurgence, because he's the only weapon.
You
but
want
he's
to know
not
what it
having
looks
a
like?
career year.
You want to know what it looks like? As soon as the Vikings acquired Justin Jefferson, that was it for him getting touches. That's what it looked like.
It was before that, a little bit before that, because I'm thinking 2019 he got hurt, but Jefferson's only been in the league for 3 years. So
They
I
got
mean,
him in
Thielen's
2020.
on the downside. I'm not saying he's not having a
32.
great year. I'm not saying he's not having a great year. He's just not having a career year. This is
And
not.
here's the thing.
People forget in his prime, Adam Thielen used to be a damn good receiver.
He's a good possession guy. He's a security blanket for Bryce Young. Bryce Young's the real deal. You heard Bryce Young is the real deal. I don't care what type of bullshit you try to spout, TJ. Bryce Young is the real deal.
He's
The
not better than
Panthers-
CJ Stroud.
The Panthers made the right choice.
They
You
made
don't
the
see
wrong
CJ
choice.
Stroud able to elude the rush like Bryce Young. CJ Stroud doesn't see the field like Bryce
How
Young
many
does.
times has Bryce Young been sacked this year that you're talking about his great
His
evasion?
offensive line
His offensive line is
fucking pathetic,
horrible.
TJ.
He's running for his life
I've
all the
never
time.
seen somebody trying to tout somebody being
Look
great.
up- look
avoiding
up the
rush
amount of
and lead
pressures.
the NFL and
Look
being
at the amount of
sacked.
pressures that the Panthers have given up this year. Look it up.
Oh my God.
compared to Houston. I mean, all I'm saying is Stroud puts up a lot of yards in garbage time.
He has 4 wins this season.
Yeah. Who's he beaten? Who've they beaten?
Oh my God.
They beat Jacksonville.
More teams in that miserable Carolina squad.
Carolina is not even.
Sorry, they've got 3 wins, 3 and 4. They're 3 and 4 this year. They beat the Saints last week.
They're terrible. Saints are terrible.
They're the best team in that division with the best record in that division. What do you mean? they're not the best team?
Atlanta's also tied for first.
They're 4 and 4. Guess what? The Saints are the best team in that division. Just like I said at the beginning of the season, it will show correct at the end. They lost by 2 points to the Falcons. They beat the Steelers 30-6 back on October the 1st. The Steelers have a winning record, right?
The Steelers suck. No, maybe the Steelers are 4. The Steelers suck, though. Kenny Pickett's their quarterback. They suck.
Not
just
anymore.
by definition.
Not
The
anymore.
Steelers are 4 and 3. They've got a winning record, and they beat the Jags, who are also a winning record team. Look at this. The Jags are 6 and 2. You talk about a guy who puts up points during garbage time. They're beating teams with winning records, something that Tua hasn't done at all this season. Okay, that's what CJ Stroud's doing. Rookie in the NFL, beating teams with winning record, something that Tua can only dream of.
Bryce Young's better than CJ Stroud. Period. Have you even seen a Panthers game? The answer is no.
I've seen a few.
You have not. You've seen
I've seen
highlights.
a
You're
few.
so full of
I've seen
shit.
highlights.
You
I've
are
seen
full of
highlights.
shit. You've never seen it. You watch that kid and how he's able to do certain things. His offensive line is terrible. His weapons are bad. There's no running game. He is really good. You can see it. If you actually watch, you can see how good he is. He has escapability. He sees the field. CJ Stroud, one check Charlie. That's where I'm going. You don't see him going from 1 to 2 to 3 receivers. Bryce Young has that ability. CJ Stroud doesn't. The only thing CJ Stroud has over Bryce Young is he's bigger physically. That's it. That's it.
Oh my God.
Watch it. Mark my words. Bryce Young, better than CJ Stroud.
How many interceptions has Bryce Young thrown this year?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You know how
I'm
many
talking, I use my eyes. I use my eyes when I watch the game. I don't
Let
use
me ask you
stats.
this. Is it usually good if you're throwing and turning the ball over? Does that usually help your team win, Grumpy?
Depends. Are his
They're
wide receivers
terrible.
fighting for those balls, or are they just giving up?
They're
I'm just
terrible.
asking you. Is
The
it good when you
Panthers are
turn the ball
terrible.
over? Is that good for you? Is it good when the quarterback turns the ball over?
No, it's not.
Answer that question's no.
No.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're not going to convince me that Bryce Young at this point is better than CJ Stroud.
You're
It's not
seeing
happening.
Bryce. You're seeing CJ Stroud regress as the season moves on. You're seeing Bryce Young get better. That's
Okay.
the difference. Drew says the Mayo coffee drinker has already done more than Tua has in his entire career.
He
Will
looked
Levis
good
took him-
today. You know what he looked? He looked like a #1 overall pick today.
Oh,
That's what he looked like.
By the by, I didn't even have a chance to address those pick comments, but we'll let those slide, I guess. Will Levis did have a good game today. Ryan Tannehill's out, right? He's not going to
yeah,
be
should
more this season.
he should
He's
never
bags.
play
He's
again.
done.
He should never play for them again. He's a free agent at the end of the year anyway. You know what I love about this game? Not much. I love the Houston Oilers uniforms. Love it. Absolutely love the old Houston Oilers
Yeah,
uniforms.
me too.
This kid's got a cannon. He just flicks the ball and it's there. And he's threw 4 touchdowns to pass, 4 touchdown passes today. There was one that was a shorter variety. Everything else is a bomb. He's just throwing it down there.
You could tell his mechanics are very raw still. He does have an arm, and I'll be honest with you, it just shows you Tennessee has open receivers. I don't think the throws I watched him play today, it wasn't like he was dropping a dime in there, making fantastic throws there, just squeezing them into a spot where only the receiver can make it. He was putting it all in stride to where the receivers were. The receivers had separation. It just shows you how bad Ryan Tannehill is and was this season. He was miserable. And the fact that they didn't give Will Levis a shot earlier is almost egregious when you watched him play today.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say he looked at this game and said, you know what? This is for all the teams that passed up on me and waited for me to get drafted in the second round.
This is for every team that led. This is for who had the first overall pick? This is for the Panthers. This is for the Panthers just skipping over me when I was a dark horse for the number 1 overall selection.
I told you number 1. He's got that number 1 overall talent. I told you. I called it. I called it before everybody hopped on the wagon.
Here it is.
Levis.
Thrown off with top of his feet. He's got an absolute cannon for an arm, though.
Absolutely.
His mechanics are shit, though. Okay, I'm going to let you know something. This kid better learn how to actually be a fundamentally sound quarterback because that shit doesn't work long term.
Guy was rushing him, and he's got the arm to get away with it. He's good. He's good. Tennessee's found their quarterback. I just wish they'd keep the uniforms.
Doop. The fucking footwork.
But here's the only guy who could catch that ball is his receiver, though.
Yeah, a lot of his passes today were just bombing it out, and his receivers were open. And it's like, oof.
That's
it just.
What does that do, though? What does that do? If you have wide receivers, what does it do for Derrick
Opens
Henry?
up your run game now.
It forces you to respect the ability to throw the football long.
Absolutely. What's the one thing they haven't had in recent years? Because
deep
Tennessee
threat.
has been a good team in the
who
last
can throw
number of
the
years
ball-
with no quarterback, right?
Yep.
They've
a
been
guy
a
who
good
can throw the
team.
ball more than 15 yards. Yes.
They have a good quarterback now, and there's no way that Tannehill should be. I mean, this is a lost season for them. It should be all about developing Will Levis. That's what the whole rest of the year should be. He's going to have his ups and downs, and I don't think he said, hey, this is for all the other teams. He's thinking, hey, this is my chance to take this job and run with it from here on out. That's the way I think he looks at it.
He said, this is for all the other teams that passed up on me. I heard him.
No, but here's the thing, right? Think about how he's progressed through the season. Earlier in the year, when Tannehill went down, who was the starting quarterback?
Willis.
Malik Willis. Not anymore. The fact that he started today tells me that he earned that job in practice, right? So he's another guy getting better as the year goes on.
Malik Willis, I thought he was cut. Was he
No.
not cut?
No. Malik Cunningham for the Patriots was cut.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, my mistake.
Will Levis, I was happy to see him play well today. Good for him. His girlfriend dropped him because he slipped to the second round. Now she's going to be.
She's going to be sliding in those DMs wanting back.
Remember me? Remember me? Yeah.
Streets.
Yeah.
She belongs to the streets. She's doing good,
I
grumpy
don't
old man.
While still on the subject of the Jets, where does Zach Wilson play so piss poor until the last 2 minutes of the game? Because he has to think the rest of the game. At the end, he said he wasn't even thinking at the end. He's always better when he's not thinking. That's not what you want in a quarterback.
Yeah, he's not the answer. Even doesn't matter. He could have 3 years learning under Aaron Rodgers. He's never going to be the guy.
X thought that he saw Aaron Rodgers zipping passes today, stepping into
lining
them
them in.
He was. I'll put this up here. I'm telling you, he'll be back before the end of the season. What's up, James? How are you? He'll be back before the end of the season. If you remove that commentary, so we can watch A's throwing in full glory here. I'm telling you one thing. He's moving around a little bit. I'm telling you, he's going to be back before the end of the season. He'll be back 2-3 weeks before the season ends.
He's not throwing the ball very far. He's a little short. He's going to have to be able to throw the ball down the field before he can get. And I'm not saying his arm is
getting
good
some
enough.
mobility. Remember the first time we saw him throwing? He wasn't moving at all when he's throwing. He's just standing still, stationary, transferring weight and throwing the football. He's moving around. He's walking around a bit. He's on the rehab of the Achilles. He will be back before the season ends. Rest assured, Jets fans, as long as Zach Wilson can give you a situation where you're in a playoff picture, you will make the postseason, and this Jets team will be a formidable opponent.
If he comes back, they'll be better. That's what I'll
Absolutely.
say. If he comes back, they'll be way better than their offense is bad right now. They're bad. The fact that they have 4 wins is a credit to the defense and the head coach, because honestly, the team could have mailed it in after he went out in week 1. Absolutely could have.
Yep. Absolutely, they could have. X, what other comments do we have here?
College football. Jackson State's Leilani Armenta, first woman to score an HBCU game. Was she a kicker?
She was the
No,
kicker.
she scored a touchdown.
What?
Yep.
Where's the video on this? Was it one of those Make-A-Wish things
No.
at halftime?
No, I didn't have the video. I just saw like a snippet of it. She actually scored a touchdown.
I thought because they did also have a female kicker too. They
Yeah.
played on the soccer team. This is somebody different.
Yeah, I think it's somebody different.
I'm pretty sure this is the kicker.
Oh, I thought it was a touchdown.
No, she's the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was wrong.
Yeah. How far
Yeah,
was the
she was-
kick?
Extra point.
Extra freaking point. Stop. Goon, you should be
Here's
embarrassed.
the thing.
Goon, you should be embarrassed.
Okay. Oh, maybe the first one to score in HBCU because they've had female kickers before. I thought when I was looking back, I don't have the thing pulled up. I
This
thought he
thing
said
better go
first-
over the freaking field house. That's all I got to say. If anything less, no.
she's the
I wanna
soccer
see it.
player who's just like a spot kicker, Grumpy.
I want
She had a few kicks because she's been kicking for a few
How
weeks.
was it 32 seconds for a freaking kick? Let's see. Hope she hooks it.
on for the extra point. The young lady we talked about.
Not
not
great.
Oh,
a
no.
few minutes ago.
Sorry.
Well, there's a net back there, Grub. Calm down.
That's one
There
hell
is
of
a net.
for Jackson
No.
State Tigers down
No.
there. Leilani Armenta
Why do you
from
think she kicked the
Ventura,
extra point?
California, first woman to ever play
'Cause they're up
in a spring
23-0.
football game, never
That's
played
why
in
she
a
kicked the
spring
extra point.
football
They're
game.
looking for some
And
pub.
she comes on and
Yeah.
she
There you
She's
go.
kicked a few times before too, because I knew she had kicked on a kickoff, and I was like, "Not great kick." It was actually one of the wound up looking like an onside kick. I wasn't sure if it was intended to be that or if it was by accident. But she did have that. I mean, she's a part of that. They had a few injuries. She's not the first female kicker to score. Maybe the first one for HBCU, but they've had other females. Because remember the one in Colorado? Grumpy used to be the kicker for the Colorado Buffaloes years and years ago.
No. No.
You
No.
don't do that?
The answer is no. 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 No.
Grumpy, what was the answer?
No.
No. No.
Stop trying to force women into a men's game.
Oh, Grumpy.
You know what? Let's play men in women's basketball. I bet you they score 100 points a night. Just give them the ball. Nobody else needs to touch it. Just hand it to me off the end line. I'll score every single time I touch it. No one can stop me.
Grumpy, you would score every time?
Every time. Every
Remove
time.
that comment. This was the kick that happened earlier on this year. Grumpy, I want you to control. You have to Grumpy because I don't want him to say yes.
No, this isn't the
She's
one I'm
wearing a
thinking of.
brace on the leg she kicks with. That should tell you all you need to know.
Okay, well, Grumpy, I've had kickers who have done that before. It means usually they've had ACL surgery, Grumpy. So this was the kick that it's not a great angle, but this is the kick when I saw it. I was like, if that was intentionally supposed to be like an onside kick, that was a really good job. If it was supposed to be a kick as far as it could down the field, not a good kick. So again, tough to tell, but I'll let you watch it here. I mean, she's kicked before. This was from weeks ago. That's why I knew it was the same person. It goes to the front line. It goes to the front line. And that's why I wasn't sure if that was like intended, because here's the thing. If it was deceptive as shit.
That's as far as she kicked the extra point. Same distance. Same thing.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, yes.
Deion Sanders left. We want someone to look at us. Let's
You
put
see-
a girl in here.
You
But
see
once
Deion
again,
Sanders?
I guarantee you, if it was the big game on the line, let's say they need the point to win the game, she's not the one taking the kick.
I'm gonna let you know something here, Grumpy. Did you see Colorado? How they've struggled? Oh, baby, Shador is gonna win the Heisman. He's a Heisman hopeful. You
Again.
notice how that's been slowly just
Again, you can't even start looking at Heisman candidates yet. You need another 2 weeks, then you could start whittling them down. Another 2 weeks because
Colorado.
nothing is decided early. Drew says Sun X definitely has had a bad day.
I wanted to mention something.
Okay.
Colorado struggled mightily there, Grumpy. But go ahead. I wanted to talk about their struggles, but I guess we get back to comments. Whatever.
Sun X definitely has had a bad day. I can tell. He lost Kirk Cousins to an Achilles injury. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are about to suffer some major down games going forward.
Yeah, so not only that, I also have Cooper Cup in 2 of my money leagues, and Stafford's out. So,
You don't know how long he's out.
okay, well,
Grumpy,
Cooper
why are you
Kupp
taking a
is-
sip off the top of your freaking grape drink? I thought we got you rehabilitated not to do that.
Cooper Cup with his 6-point production the last 2 weeks has not been helping my team out very much.
I do want to mention this. Talking about Kirk Cousins, he was off to a damn good year this year. All the love that Tua was getting. Kirk Cousins was leading the NFL in passing touchdowns, was second in the NFL in passing yards, and third in the NFL in passer rating. We didn't hear the massive hordes of individuals talking about how great Kirk Cousins was. No, because he's been okay this year. Despite the numbers being great, a lot of them were trying to play catch-up football and against shitty opponents.
The fact that he has TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson,
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne to throw the ball to, because they have no running attack, none at all, nada, nothing. So they have to throw the ball all the time. There's a reason why they've only scored. I think they had 8 possessions or something inside the red zone or inside the 10. They only had 3 touchdowns. They're not good enough.
They
And
scored
what's
their
their record?
first rushing touchdown today, I think.
It
And
was
what's
Cam
their
Akers.
record? Even after
Cam
today's
Akers.
win against Green Bay, they're 4-4. They're a 500 club. And it's not because their defense, their defense isn't great, but it doesn't totally suck. It's the fact that they're just not real good.
You know what? That's a team. Why would they not go after somebody like a Derrick Henry?
They're not good enough.
They could definitely use them. The one thing that hurts them, obviously, is they're currently without Kirk Cousins, and they will be for the remainder of the season. They don't have a quarterback, right? If Kirk Cousins was healthy, I think sure, because if you're 4-4, their division sucks, right? They beat the hell. They beat who is ahead? Who is the top of their division? They're second in the division.
Detroit 6-2.
Does anybody else have that weird feeling that Detroit's going to find a way to Detroit things up?
No. Detroit will win division. The rest of the division sucks.
What Grumpy?
Detroit might wind up having the best record in the NFC this year.
The AFC?
The NFC. Detroit might wind up having the best record in the NFC this year.
Okay. Well, I guess because you're talking about the Niners have been struggling so much.
I'm talking about their schedule's pretty easy, considering where they came in. They're not playing the first-ranked teams in every division like previous division winners are. Philadelphia is 7-1, okay? But then you got Dallas, who's 5-2. The South stinks. The West is beating up on itself. They could. I'm not saying they will. They could wind up having the best record in the NFC.
They haven't played anybody tough all season.
They beat Kansas City.
Here's my question. Do you think Justin Jefferson, now with the loss of Kirk Cousins, comes back this year?
Yes.
I don't. I don't think so.
He had a hamstring. He's banged up hamstring. Absolutely, he'll be back. They beat the Chiefs.
He said that there was a possibility if the team wasn't in a potential to make the playoffs, he wasn't going to come back.
This Lions team, I fear, may be a paper tiger as well. They beat the Chiefs. They lost to the Seahawks. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Packers. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Buccaneers, and they got stomped by the Ravens. They play the Raiders, the Chargers, who are an up and down team. The Bears suck. The Packers suck. The Saints are pretty decent.
They suck.
Bears suck. Broncos suck. Vikings twice, and the Cowboys.
Don't tell me that they cannot win the NFC. Don't tell me that they can't. I'm not saying they will. But
have you looked at the Vikings schedule? It's not. The Vikings have a pretty Charmin soft schedule the remainder of the season. Falcons.
they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback. You're not winning anything without a quarterback. And they're 2 games behind. They're 2 games behind Detroit, and they don't have a quarterback. You're right. They're gonna have a shot to win that division. Yeah. Stop.
Maybe.
Hard stop.
What are the comments do we have here, X?
James Farrell says the Bengals beat 4 non-conference teams this year, first time since 1970. Bengals are good. Bengals, I'll tell you what, watch out for the Bengals.
You about to say the Bengals going to win a Super Bowl?
I was close. I was so close.
You talk about me always talking about guys being future Hall of Famers. Grumpy,
I didn't say it. I didn't say it, though. I didn't say it.
Your kryptonite is every single team has a chance to win the Super Bowl.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I said I was close, but I didn't say it. Watch out for the Bengals, all I said. Gungu says, Sunex, in last night's Islanders Blue Jackets game, were you more impressed with Martin or Martin, the goalie or the goal scorer? In today's NFL game, were you more impressed with New York or New York? Just say Martin and New York. That's
Martin in New York. There we
There you
go.
go. Got it, X.
Jesus.
Ye right to Pop says the Lamanites make me sick.
The Heritage Classic tonight. Now, did you see kind of the way it looked, how it was all set up today?
No.
I'll put that up on screen. I'll tell you, it looks pretty nice. I'm usually not a fan for the outdoor series. It did look really nice out there, Grumpy.
That's fair.
They used a lot of like the visual aids in addition, which I feel like sometimes could be lost on that. I'm not a fan. I would not be a fan of going to one of those games live.
No
Can't see a damn
No
thing.
way.
You're sitting up there, and even in the best spot in the house, you're still sitting. It's like sitting up in the bleeds. But I mean, like I thought it was really nicely done. The intro was really nice there. I liked it. And Edmonton obviously won, right?
I don't think the game's even started. I think it starts at.
Game's almost over, Grump.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who's winning. Don't know.
I had it pulled up there earlier. It was early. It was 3-1 Edmonton at one point.
Okay. That's fair. Don't know who won. But yeah, I agree with you, TJ. I would never go to a game like that.
Oilers are up.
Fun to watch on
3-2.
TV, though.
We were talking last night that it's almost like some of the excitement out of those games have been taken away because you're in a spot to where they do them so frequently now. They used to be special. Where it was like, remember, it was always on like New Year's Day.
The
You
Winter
had
Classic.
one game in the afternoon on like 12 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's Day. And it's like, hey, we play them, 5 or 6 outdoor series games a year. It's not the same.
Another thing for me, it means something when it's snowing during
Yes.
the game. That's
Yes.
when it's the best. If it's not snowing, it kind of just looks like trash.
The snow makes it look much better.
Yep.
Much better.
Damn.
Next comment, X. What are you doing? What are you
Watch
doing,
the
X?
game.
Drew
Great.
says, I would
Okay.
say Arthur Smith coached a good game today, but it took a Desmond Ritter concussion before he finally started coaching well. Also, TJ, you're wrong on Sam Howell and B. John Robinson. I don't even know what TJ thinks about them, but it's fine if you say he's wrong.
He probably thinks they suck.
Here's the problem. Desmond Ritter is not the answer in Atlanta.
No.
Sam Howell is not the answer for the Commanders.
I agree.
And Drew's getting all excited. Oh, guys. Hey, guys. Sam Howell threw 397 passing yards and 4 touchdowns and a pick. A special player. I'm sorry. Look at his whole body of work. He's not the answer there for them. He's a guy. He's another one of those average type of quarterbacks. That's it.
Yes. That's fair to say.
Okay, think about it. He's thrown 8 picks. I'm sorry. With today's interception, he's thrown 8 picks on the season. He's throwing over a pick a game, or he's at an average of an interception a game with 13 touchdowns. I'm sorry. He's nothing to write home about.
Just to touch on Taylor Heineke today, replaced Ritter, and the offense started to hum. Taylor Heineke is a better quarterback than Desmond Ritter.
Yep.
Desmond Ritter is not a good quarterback, nor will he ever be a good quarterback. He was a turnover machine today. He was terrible. I didn't even realize he had a concussion. I thought he was benched for ineffectiveness. They even talked about it on the telecast. They're like, do you think the players realize when somebody doesn't have it, and you think it riled, whatever, what the players speak. Do you think that they feel better when the player is not? I think they said was everyone is held accountable when you bench your starting quarterback. That's what came out. And it means everybody's accountable, because I'll tell you what, Taylor Heineke is a better quarterback than Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter sucks. He played for Cincinnati, and guess what? He blows. I'm sorry. He's not the answer there.
Here are the memes that Drew sent us here for the day to make sure we're all up to date. Now, after the Broncos beat the Chiefs today, this is what they were playing in the stands. Oh, it looked like, did it snow there?
Yes.
Yeah, it snowed
Must
before
have.
the game. They had to plow the field.
They had the field covered.
You know who that is, Grumpy?
That's I don't know. I
Taylor
know they
Swift,
play-
I'm
they
guessing?
play Swifty music. I think. I couldn't
Yes,
tell
they're
you. Is that
playing
what
Taylor
song?
Swift.
I
They're
can't
playing
even hear
Taylor
it.
Swift.
I can't.
They
hear
beat the Chiefs, and they started playing Taylor Swift music. That is correct, Grumpy. Will Levis. Oh my God. And DeAndre Hopkins today. Just throwing it. Oh, look at them. He's trying to Grumpy, look at this. He's trying to go ahead and compare Will Levis to Tom Brady. Just throwing it up there for Randy Moss to come down with the ball.
He did have a Tom Brady-esque performance today.
All I'll
look
say
at
is,
that.
remember the last guy who was compared to Tom Brady? How did he look today?
Oh, let's see here. Will Levis, when his X tries coming back. Oh,
That's
Jesus.
it.
Randy Orton hits on the RKO.
What happens? What happens? Well, wait, where is it?
I don't want to show WWE, Grumpy. That gets the stream taken down. So I showed 5 seconds, and hopefully that will not get our stream banned in all countries. But this is the big throw here.
Levis off the fake, looking for Hopkins. He's got it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Again, like the mechanics are not sound. He's got a strong arm. Definitely can afford to, refine a few of those things, though.
I liked what I saw from him.
Okay.
His arm strength. I like what I saw from him today.
Hey, Grumpy. Next comment there, X. X, what are you? X, what? Come on, X. Stay on the ball here, huh?
Lionel
What are you doing?
Messi, the worst of well, he's not the greatest of all time. What a fraudulent name for a person. I'll get my 8th Ballon d'Or tomorrow. Let's go. I think they probably gave that to him 2 years ago. Well, how can we get him another Ballon d'Or? Just give him one. He doesn't have to perform. Just
The cute thing is he wasn't the best player in his country. He wasn't the best player for the league. He wasn't the best player on his team.
Nope.
And yet he's going to win the best player in the world.
Got eliminated in Champions League. Did they play Real last year?
No,
They
got
played Bayern. They played
got
Bayern.
eliminated
He
by
went goalless against Bayern. He scored 4
he's a-
goals in Champions League, 3 of which were against some team you can't even name.
Okay. This is not to put down Lionel Messi because I think he's a really great all-time player. He's nowhere near the player that he used to be, and
Go ahead.
they just gave it to him because they like him.
It's sentimental. That's why they gave him an award, because they wanted to have the sentimentality of he won a World Cup and we gave him the Ballon d'Or.
It's ridiculous. He was not good last year.
No.
He was not good. Like I said, he wasn't the best player on his team. He wasn't the best player in Champions League. Wasn't the best player in his league. He happened to play on a team that won a World Cup with some questionable officiating along the way. I'm not saying the World Cup was rigged. I will say there were some questionable calls though, and they all went Argentina's way. That's all I'm going to say.
They had the most penalties ever called in favor of a team in the history of the World Cup.
And
they
committed some fouls in the box that got let go. I'm just saying, I'm never a believer in
One of
coincidence.
which was in the final.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not really a fan of. I don't believe in coincidence, and I mean, come on, Erling Haaland was the best player in soccer last year.
Oh, well, Haaland disappears in big games and Messi doesn't. Again, in
No, Messi
Champions
disappears.
League-
Messi, first of all, doesn't even get to big games, and when he does disappear. He's done nothing on the biggest stage the last number of years. Nothing. Ever since he left Barca, he's done nothing. Nothing on the big stage.
When you look at Messi's stats, right, they're like, oh, he's got 62 goal contributions across all games.
We don't need
Well,
to talk about
it's-
this again, do we? Again? We don't need to
Oh,
talk about it.
it's brought up. So, yeah, we're going to touch on it.
All he says
when
is
you
get
take out-
a Ballon d'Or. It's bogus. The award means nothing. The award means nothing. Ronaldo has more goal contributions than he does.
That's correct.
I mean, and he plays in the actual league.
If
He
you
plays-
take out the MLS production and the production in friendlies, which are friendlies by nature, they're not even recorded
They
games.
don't even matter.
Doesn't have that.
They
Doesn't
don't
have
even
good
matter.
numbers.
He only played what?
Wait, he scores 3 goals against this whatever the hell team. I don't even know what their names were. It's some team you can't even name. That's the team he scored against. Was in group stage. He scored 3 goals against them in one game. Great.
He's just not the same player he was, is all I'll say.
No.
Erwin Haaland was the best player in the world last year. Mbappe is probably second, right?
Yes.
Let's be honest. I don't even know who I could name for third because those were the 2 top players in the world. Maybe Vinny Jr. Maybe Vinny Jr. is third.
Mbappe was better than Messi in the World Cup.
He absolutely
You
was.
cannot convince me otherwise. I don't give a shit what you could. You would have to. I still, even till on my deathbed, would tell you that Mbappe was better in the World Cup. Look at the goals he scored. Look at what he did single handedly for that French team instead of Captain Tappin and Captain Penalty.
Yeah, see, I don't understand how Mbappe didn't win Player of the Tournament and they gave that to Messi.
It's all
Makes
about
no sense.
sentimentality.
Because he didn't win.
Okay, Modric didn't win in 2018, yet he still got the award. Modric only scored 2 goals, or scored, I think, had 1 goal and 1 assist all World Cup in 2018, and still won the award. While Mbappe had 6 or 7 goals this World Cup.
The difference between Mbappe and Messi in the World Cup was Mbappe was scoring goals in the game of play. When the game was being played, not penalty kicks.
Look
Not
at this, and he's friendly. Look at this. Look at this. The guy's just a friendly stat stuffer. 4 games in friendlies, 5 games, 2 goals. This is the team you're talking about, X.
Against some
Masibia.
Maccabi Haifa.
from Italy. That's the Israeli team.
Like my God. Yeah, that's where he loaded up his fucking goals again.
2 games,
Yep.
6 points.
Yep.
That guy
That's
fucking
all.
blew.
And then look, he scored 1 goal against Benfica and had 1 assist against Juve. That's what I mean. He didn't do shit against actual teams.
Here's the
He
thing.
sucks.
It's not to diminish his career.
He
Okay,
sucks.
it's not. But guess what? He was not the best player. All it does is diminish the award. It makes it meaningless. Honestly, it's just a popularity contest. That's all it is.
Yep.
And they expose themselves. The French are the ones who give it out. Come on, it's the
I'm
French.
letting you know the reason why Mbappe doesn't win those awards is because he's not liked.
And
Well,
he wants to leave
that's it.
France.
He's Mbappe is about himself. He's about making the most money he can at all times. That's what he's about. But if you, like I said, if you put them up side by side, there's no comparison between the two at this stage of their career. Like I said, I'm not talking about 5 years ago Messi or the greatest when Messi was at his peak of his power. I'm talking about Messi now and Mbappe now. Who would you, if you're starting a team, or even if you're I just want to put out a team today, you're picking Mbappe over Messi or Haaland over Messi. Messi's not even close to the top of the guys you're picking for games.
Holland broke a century-old record of the most goals scored in the toughest league.
They won the treble
He
last year.
won the Champions League. He won the cup. He won the best team in the UK. They won the Premier League. They won the treble. And he scored the most goals in the history of the toughest league in all of football. Messi, though, scored 10 goals and had 1 assist in 7 games in an MLS tournament. I'm sorry.
They didn't
We
play
gotta move
anybody
on.
though. They played like
That's my point. They played nobody. They played no one.
It doesn't matter. It's all it means that the award is a joke. It means nothing. It means
Yes.
nothing. That's all.
I mean, think about it. Messi was nominated for
Can
UEFA's
we just move
best.
on from this? Please,
Well,
can we
I'm
move
ready to
on
move
from
on.
this? Please.
That's fine.
You know what? Have your personal discussions with your personal friends later. Stop. Goon says, fascinating, useless trivia. The Mets never won a game 1 in the World Series. When you think about it, 1969, 73, 86, 2000, or 2015. Should we just forget about this? Well, you can forget about it for now because they ain't close to going back to the World Series.
Have you seen the games, by the way, the World Series, the first 2 games?
I watched the first game.
So now people, it's always funny. They always put together these edits. Now, do you remember earlier on in the season, Zach Gallen tapped Bird in spring training? Do you remember
Yeah, he
that?
killed the bird. Yes, I remember that. And they're saying it's just like when Randy Johnson did it. They won that year.
and the same thing happened in 2001 when they wound up winning the World Series that year.
Yep.
So they're trying to say the bird strike is going to be an indicator that the Diamondbacks are winning the World Series, grumpy old man.
I've seen that. Yep.
I tell you, I've seen it all. I've seen it all when you see shit like that. Now, it's a 1-1 tie in the series currently. Who do you guys think is the favorite there to win the World Series?
I'm rooting for Texas. Absolutely rooting for Texas.
Yeah, I want Texas to win since they've never won it. I don't know.
Arizona's
Really,
good.
it honestly
Arizona-
depends on pitching.
The thing is, Arizona is able to play small ball.
Yep.
And that benefits you in the World Series where the pitching is usually better. Texas's pitching is not great. I think that Arizona should potentially have the better pitching staff. But, who knows? I mean, Texas can hit the ball. They have some really good hitters. I'm rooting for them. So I'm not like I said, I'm going to pick them to win just because I want them to win. Let me just put it that way. 1-1 after 2 games. Let's see what happens when they go back to Arizona.
Yep.
You write to Pop, says, please name the top 3 ranked Lamanites outside of the Islanders organization. I don't know. I don't.
Stefan Rosner and anybody else. I don't know. It could be Michael Moisa, Brandon Gaines, any of the Phil's facts.
It's Phil. It's Phil's number 1. Phil's number 2. Phil's number 1. Phil's number 2, and Phil's number 3. It's Phil. Carlos says, salute everyone. Hey, I hope you're having a great time in Portugal, Carlos. Love you, baby.
Hope to go.
Drew says the real QB evaluator was right in this chat, not the so-called QB evaluator host. Sam Howell, a.k.a. Faker Mayfield, is a good quarterback. He just needs an offensive line.
Sam Howell is not a good quarterback.
I'm not sold on him. I know he's, his second year in the league?
Second year.
I mean, I'm not saying give up on him, but I don't know how. Taylor Heineke looked just as good playing for Washington. Just as good.
Yes.
James Farrell says, bad loss by the Giants. Hope they have another one next week. I mean, I know there was an earlier question, who's a better coach, Saleh or Daboll? Daboll's a better coach than Saleh, but they're just not that good. They don't have a whole lot of talent. They're rebuilding the offensive line. Their defense is okay, but their offense needs a lot of work. A lot of work. No weapons except for Saquon. Darren Waller's on the back end. They don't have a quarterback, which is a real big issue. And their offensive line is mediocre at best, starting with that pig on the right side, Evan Neal.
He's the best right tackle in the game, Grumpy.
Yep. Okay. Gungun, Son X, last night TJ said that Connor McDavid transcends hockey. Grumpy disagreed. On what side of the wrestling mat do you stand?
I'll say I think Connor McDavid is really, really, really good. But I mean, the player who you think of who transcends hockey has to be Wayne Gretzky, right?
There can be more than one player who transcends the sport.
If you walk down the street and you talk to anybody, hey, do you know who Connor McDavid is? And the answer is no.
Unless they watch hockey, they're not going to know who he is. Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux would be the two that I would say are the most notable hockey players.
Your nephew, Grump, was in a bar with Wayne Gretzky in North Carolina, and nobody knew who the hell he was. So much for transcending the sport of hockey. Bullshit.
You think somebody would know who Connor McDavid is?
No, Wayne Gretzky. Didn't know.
You think anyone would know who Connor McDavid is? He walked in the bar.
Who Connor McDavid was in North Carolina?
You were looking just in the sphere of what does the Southern U.S. think of Connor McDavid. Here's the thing. Every single Canadian knows who Connor McDavid is. Even if they hate hockey, they know who he is.
Okay, every Canadian knows who Wayne Gretzky is, okay?
That's my point.
Oh, God.
No,
Wayne Gretzky is the person who transcends hockey. He is known way more than Connor McDavid is.
Give McDavid time. Joseph C. Grump.
The Diamondbacks have that team of destiny vibe, but that game 1 loss was a tough one. Good they bounced back in game 2.
Look at this. Little Messi, the greatest of all time.
Grump, do you notice a picture video quality difference in cable TV versus streaming? Cable better? Cable's way better than streaming. Way better. Way better.
Yeah, cable's better than streaming until you get a windstorm or some rain. And then you don't get any signal at all and you can't watch it.
Cable's better than streaming. Cable's better than streaming.
Well, you technically have Dish. You don't have
Cable's better than streaming.
Okay, again, you technically have Dish, not cable.
Cable's better than streaming too. Streaming is last. Streaming is last of all of them. Last.
Unless you get a rainstorm, then you can't watch. You can't watch it.
Last.
Hey, you know that game you were about to watch? Oh, it's raining outside. Sorry, guys. We're not able to watch it.
Last.
We can't watch it.
Streaming is last.
No signal. Sorry, guys.
Last.
You know what? I've never
why
had.
Why does the thing go? Why is it? Why did it stop? Oh shit! Oh,
because there's bad weather outside. That's why it happens all the time.
It's raining.
Dead last.
It's raining.
Dead last.
There's some cloud coverage.
Dead last. You know what I like? Here's the thing I like the best. I want to watch Channel 3. Boop. Channel 3 comes up. Oh, hold on. Beep, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, 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 boop. Stream. Hold on. Oh, it's over. No, streaming sucks. It's
It's
last.
over.
Dead last. Dead last.
That's it.
Let me scroll down my menu,
Oh,
roll it
you
over,
dumbass.
click on this. Oh, which person? Let me click on me. Hold on. Now I got to find what I'm looking for. What do I? Oh, hold on. Let me. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, go back over here. Nope, we missed it. That's not in the highlight. Go over here. Did we save it? What is it? No. Forget
Sounds like
streaming.
somebody struggling with technology.
Forget streaming. Drew says,
Hold on,
Patrick Mahomes-
Grumpy. Can I have you repeat that one more time, Grumpy?
I don't even
How
know
you
what
have
I
to go and look that up?
No, I already did it once. That's enough.
Damn it! I was gonna try to pull up. I'm fine with my rabbit ears. I'm fine
Can
with
I
my
just
rabbit
say-
ears.
Can I just say one more thing about the Lionel Messi poster? I don't hear him talking shit today about Patrick Mahomes.
Ooh.
Usually that he sucks.
Does Kansas City still have the longest active winning streak?
Kansas shitty. They don't have a winning streak. Matter of fact, they got one of the longest losing streaks in the league, tied with 16 other teams.
Next
Drew
call.
says Patrick Mahomes also lost to the Broncos and got embarrassed. Absolutely. He looked like dog shit today.
Yep.
Just throw it up for grabs. Just throw it up. Charlie Chuck, you suck. Charlie
He looked
Chuck.
like Jake Delhomme back in the Panthers days when he had Steve Smith and Musa Muhammad just slinging it up there.
He just looked like Dennis Shaw from the Buffalo Bills back in the 70s.
See what Grumpy's doing? He was just over here talking about how he wasn't shitting on Patrick Mahomes, but that's exactly what it sounds like to me. Grumpy.
You know what? The fact that you dragged out that damn Lionel Messi bullshit and talked about it for 20 minutes, I got no use for it.
It was not
Google
2
says,
minutes.
I have to agree with Grumpy that McDavid doesn't transcend hockey. The average schlub doesn't know him, unlike Gretzky, Ruth, Reggie. All right, just the names. Ali, OJ, Namath, even Travis Kelce as of late. Absolutely.
Now, would you say Reggie
Absolutely.
Jackson more than Derek Jeter?
Yes. Mr. October. Yes.
No, Grumpy, that's
Yes.
just because you're old. It's everybody knows who
A
Derek
lot of
Jeter
people
is
know
now.
who Derek Jeter is.
Babe
A
Ruth.
lot of people
Right.
know who Derek Jeter is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Derek Jeter.
I'd
didn't
say
transcend.
people more so know who Jeter is than now. People more so know who Jeter is than Jackson.
Well, I'll agree with that. But you know
Yeah.
what? A-Rod, Big Poppy. Why? Because they're on TV.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, I'd say Jeter probably
Derek-
more than A-Rod and Big Poppy.
Have you
Big
seen?
Poppy, yes. Big Poppy, absolutely.
Have you seen A-Rod? Jeter. He's on the Fox
Yeah.
broadcast now. They sit him really far away from A-Rod, but he's wearing a suit. The jacket is just too damn small. Son, don't button the damn thing up if it's that type. You look.
He also, I think he's on those Lincoln commercials, right? Isn't it Lincoln? The
I don't
car.
know,
He's on those
but-
car commercials now. There's a whole bunch of them.
I don't
The
know.
jacket's
Car
too
commercials.
small for your belly, Derek. Stop. Get a
Next.
bigger jacket. Here's the thing. Don't buy a suit that's too small and think you're going to lose weight to get into it. That shit ain't never happened. That shit's failed.
Grumpy, you look all
I
upset.
personally have donated 3 or 4 suits to the homeless because somebody determined that I don't get a shirt that don't get the suit that's too small. I'll lose weight to fit into it. Guess what? That shit ain't never happening. If that thing's going to go out of style before
Grumpy, what shirt are you wearing today?
Grumpy shirt.
That's right. Grumpy is grumpy today. That's for certain.
Who's not able to wear any of the suits that I bought him?
Dave Johnson. Who's that, Grumpy?
Let's hear it for Morstead and Legatron, True Jet Heroes.
Oh, there it
Punter,
is.
and I don't know what Oh, that's the
Kicker.
kicker. Yeah, the kicker. Freedom Front Event says Tua, who is on TJ's crazed list of hate. That's true. Horvat, Romanov, Tua, playing really well. Again, they're playing shitty competition.
Oh,
He
Jesus.
hasn't looked good against good teams. He wasn't quarterback one. He wasn't the quarterback I wanted, but can't deny it. Weak ass Giants fans wish you had Tua over Jones. Well, that's probably okay.
I do
I would
not
take,
wish we had Tua over Jones.
yeah, Tua can't run as good as Jones. They're both average guys.
Could you imagine Tua playing week in, week out in MetLife Stadium in the cold,
paralyzed.
windy months?
Oh yeah,
First
He
off,
could throw the ball.
he'd be paralyzed.
Yes.
Because often he would get absolutely eviscerated.
Tua is completely average. Tua is
He's Billy
completely.
Bust.
He's completely average in every sense of the word.
Joseph C. says McDavid is great, but he hasn't done anything that hasn't been done before. The only difference is his speed. He's just, I mean, here's the thing. We would probably notice him if he walked by, but unless you're a hockey fan, you don't know who he is. Nope.
I hope you would notice him. X, would you know who McDavid looked like?
I know what McDavid looks like. I also know what Wayne Gretzky looks like, so I would know both of them if they were.
Bobby
I'm
Orr.
about to put you to a test. Don't
me,
look it up, X.
The one guy in hockey who really transcended the game is Gretzky. That's it. Everybody knows Gretzky because he was the greatest player of all time, right?
I'd say.
Goon says, who's a worst head honcho, Dayball or Salah? Salah. Dayball just don't have the horses. Freedom Front Event says, very sad about the former Penguin who had his throat sliced by a skate and passed away. Reminds me of when Clint Malarchuk from Buffalo almost died on ice. Exactly. It's like, what the hell's going on in England? They couldn't get that taken care of there? I mean, come on. They had a guy who, I mean, it was really a shame. I think his name was Anthony Johnson, played for the Pittsburgh Penguins, 29 years old, was playing in England, passed away. Just
2 years ago, he was still with the AHL affiliate.
Tony Cheese says, how come Grumpy gets yelled at, but not Son X for watching the game?
I think I've been yelling at Son X today equally.
Why do you feel you need to yell at people? You think that you're big a guy?
He thinks he's the tyrant.
You know what I think? I'm like, you know what I think? The same thing I said yesterday to you on a show. If I'm taking my time to do a podcast with you, the least you could give me is your attention in time.
He's just jealous because he doesn't have a TV in that room.
No! Because guess what? He doesn't have an internet connection to watch it.
Shouldn't you just use your phone like you stream all the other games?
That's what he
I'm
does.
fine with my rabbit ears. I'm fine with my rabbit ears. Isn't that right, Grumpy?
Joseph Seekta, and here's a follow-up about Adam Johnson, who died. Yes, very, very bad.
Nice blow by on that one, Grump.
Well, we just talked about it.
I'm on to the next thing.
Drew says, so one of my tweets went viral early this morning. All I did was post a picture of an alligator. LOL.
We need the tweet.
Just send a tweet.
Joseph C. says Mahomes will be fine. He won an MVP in a Super Bowl last year without Hill. They'll get better weapons for him soon. Let's see. Because when Kelsey's done, who's the security blanket?
Isaiah Pacheco. And
it's tougher to get weapons when you're picking at the tail end of, unless you think that they're going to be tanking pretty soon. Here's the thing. I don't think Mahomes is a bad quarterback. I think he's really freaking good. The thing is, he's made better. He's always had weapons. Yep. I don't think he makes other players better. That's all I want to say. I don't think that he has certain abilities that Brady had, period. End of sentence, end of story. Drew says, hot take for my MVP, it should go to Jared Goff, who's been the most efficient and least turnover-prone quarterbacks while playing at a high level. I don't think he's even in a conversation right now. Here we go. Oh, my God. Lionel says, worth noting, Mahomes had the flu and played in 30-degree weather in Denver, listed on the injury report today. Tom Brady played with 104 fever and won an AFC championship. This guy couldn't beat fucking Denver. Enough said. End of story. He lost to Denver. Stop. Full stop.
Didn't they give up 70 or something points to Miami?
Yeah. Thank God they had Harrison Butker to kick
Mahomes could only score 9. Damn.
No, he didn't score any.
Sorry.
Harrison Butker who scored them. He was too busy turning the ball over all day. Stop. Joseph C. says Mahomes is way greater than Allen. Disagree. Gungun says, Grumpy, do you agree that when Brady led the Patriots to victory with all those great comebacks at the last minute, that shit slaps, was it on fleek? Yeah, whatever.
What does that mean?
Truly the best. You didn't want him getting the ball in the last minute. You did not want that. No, it petrified teams. Petrified them from the first Super Bowl till the end of his career.
X, we're going to play a game. Which
Matt
one
Barzal.
is Connor McDavid?
Oh!
That's Matt Barzal.
Okay.
We're going to have 4 options, okay?
He already got it. Move on.
That's Connor McDavid.
Okay. Who's number 2? Who's number 3?
I have no idea who that is.
Leon Draisaitl.
And then that's Nathan McKinnon, right?
Wow, I am shocked. X.
Honestly,
Holy shit, you got
I was-
3 of the 4 right.
I wasn't getting Draisaitl either.
I
I don't think I've ever seen Draisaitl without his helmet on. I wouldn't have got him.
Okay. Fair enough.
Wow.
The
X
other
knows
the other
some
three,
shit.
absolutely,
Whoa.
but not Draisaitl.
X, did you look it up beforehand?
How would I have looked it up beforehand? I know what Connor McDavid looks like.
Okay. Okay.
I told you I would know what Connor McDavid looked like if he walked down the street. Same thing with Wayne Gretzky.
Okay.
I know what he looked like if he walked down the street.
TJ right now has this. He feels the same way he did when X got his first haircut. TJ got his first haircut. All he did was cry and bawl like a little bitch.
I guess I looked up, I read your mind and looked up Nathan McKinnon too, right?
And when X got a haircut for the first time, TJ was so certain he was going to cry. He was like, yeah, you watch, he's going to cry. TJ was scared of scared of the little buzzer. Son X didn't cry. And I'll tell you what, TJ's like, whoop, 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 whoop.
X, do that. X, do that muscle. Do that muscle again for us.
Look at
Move
that.
foot up. I want to see that muscle in all its glory.
Look at it. Man, that's big, man.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's what you get at Crunch Fitness, baby. Yeah.
Right.
Nice comment there, X. See if your muscles can put the next comment. Click the next comment. There we go.
Freedom
just
Fund
did Connor
Adventure
McDavid.
says Grumpy Miami is not a paper tiger. How can you say that?
Fuck.
When they
Oh.
lost to Philadelphia, they didn't get one call in the entire game, despite obvious penalties. My God. They lost by 14 points
Oh.
against Philly and Buffalo, missing 3 offensive linemen, Howard, Ramsey, Needham, and at quarterback others. Well, guess what?
Ramsey hasn't played until this week.
The best ability is availability, right?
Oh.
Teams have injuries all the time. You just got to play through it. The fact is, they haven't beaten a team with the winning record. It's like I feel like Hooper in Jaws. The fact is, these bites don't match the bites on the victim. That's what it is. You know who they didn't chew up in the surf? They didn't chew up the Bills. They didn't chew up the Eagles. Who'd they chew up? The fucking shitty Patriots twice, the crappy Bears, the crappy Broncos. Those are the teams they chewed up.
All I have to do is wait until next week until all the Dolphin fans go hiding in their little hole talking about the goldfish because they play a team with a winning record and they'll get fucking waxed off of planet Earth against a team that's a questionable
I
team.
think Miami has a shot to beat them.
I'm rooting for
Take it.
Miami. I'm rooting for Miami to be Kansas City. When we cut Tua open, you know what you're going to see? You might see a license plate from New England, but you're not going to see one from Buffalo, New York, or one from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Grumpy.
E-Cut says the Bengals can win anywhere in the playoffs. One in Buffalo and Kansas City last year. The Bengals are a team that travels. They're a good team. They're a
Bills
really
Mafia,
good team.
baby. Or no, Bengals?
The Bengals, yep. They're good.
All
They're
right.
good.
Joseph C.
Shame the Jets lost Rodgers because I firmly believe they would be 6-1 right now and had a shot at the number 1 seed in the AFC. I thought they might even have a shot at winning the Super Bowl if they had Rodgers. It's amazing
Rodgers
they're
will
4.
be back.
It is amazing that they're 4-3 when your quarterback is
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yep.
Right now, I think if the playoffs started today, no, the Jets would just miss. They'd be 8th.
They play the Chargers, the Raiders, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans. If he could be back with 4 games remaining in the season, Rodgers still be in good shape.
We'll see. Freedom Fund Adventure says, same versus Buffalo. Miami's still winning despite massive injuries. Let me know when the Jets and Giants get tall enough to even sniff Miami's butts.
Hold on. Freedom Fun Adventure.
What
I
does that
feel
have to do
like, when is the last time the Dolphins have, I don't know, made the postseason, had a postseason victory, or won a Super Bowl? It's strong words coming from
1973. 1973, 50 years ago.
you know what? It's strong words coming from a really shitty franchise with a really shitty team. I'm sorry. Come on. I got to call it on that.
Here's
Shit.
the problem. Here's the problem the Dolphins have when you get to the playoffs.
They don't have a quarterback.
Every team has a winning record. That's a problem for them. Massive problem.
Wow. What a films.
At least Son X is watching football while he isn't paying attention to the podcast.
I'm doing the bare minimum.
TJ's playing with his cat.
Yep, that's right. T's not even paying attention to the podcast. He's too worried about licking his cat.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of that on the show. How'd you get me?
Freedom Fun Adventure. I didn't realize Freedom Fun Adventure was a Dolphins fan. Miami currently missing 4 offensive line starters, 3 defensive backs, 3 running backs. They're not missing 3 running backs. They're not. Come on, stop.
Hold on.
They got their Raheem Mostert's the starting running back there.
I gotta pull up the injury report and fact check this bullshit.
And 3 at linebacker, and that isn't all. They still spanked the Patriots. The Patriots suck. That's my point. They beat teams that suck. They can't beat a team with a winning record.
How many wins do the Patriots have?
2.
2-6, and we're celebrating that.
Hey, if the Chargers win tonight, that'll be the first team that they've beaten that has 3 wins in 8 games.
Think about that. Something
Broncos.
else, isn't it?
Let's ride. Lionel saying, Grump overreacting on Kansas City. Kansas City has a top 10 defense. Let Mahomes get healthy and then talk. He's healthy. He's healthy as any other player in the league. Casey will be there for the AFC title game. Not if they have to play on the road. It's nothing. Mahomes has never played a road playoff game. Never freaking ever has he played a road playoff game. He's played a couple of neutral site games. When he played Brady in a neutral site game, what happened? Lost. When he played Brady in a home game, what happened? When Brady was 40 years old, lost. His thing, he just couldn't beat Brady. Sorry. Brady's too good. He can never beat Brady. Never beat Brady in a big game. Never freaking ever. It's not going to happen. The old man was in his 40s and beat Mahomes' ass. That's all I got to say. If Brady was in his 30s, Mahomes, I lost again to the greatest of all time. That's what it was. Sorry.
Worth putting this up here. The Miami only have Ritter Craycraft and Javon Holland that were out here today with concussion. Questionable was Ramsey, who I think played today.
He played.
Did he play?
Sure he did. Had an interception they do on a floater from Mac Jones.
Xavier Howard there. Nick Edelman.
They all played. Anybody who's questionable plays. Mostert played. All those guys played.
That's correct. So they only had 2 players that missed today's game.
So I thought he said there were 4 offensive linemen out.
Yeah, there weren't any. They had a few questionable defensive linemen, but they didn't miss any time either.
They all played.
Yeah.
Got an ass ache. They play. Come on.
Oh, man. Okay, X,
Put 'em on the
continue
injured
on.
list.
Yeah. That's cute.
Josh Allen absolutely has better weapons than Mahomes.
Yes,
no.
thank you.
No.
He does.
Stop making me agree with you.
Throughout his career, he is not.
He's got the better wide receiver.
I'm saying right now.
I'd say
Diggs
it's
is
pretty even.
Diggs is a better wide receiver than anybody Kansas City has.
That's correct.
Travis Kelce's the number 1 tight end.
Travis Kelce's a better tight end than anybody on the Bills.
Would you
and-
rather have Travis Kelce or Stephon Diggs?
Travis Kelce. He moves the chains. Travis Kelce moves the chains. Travis Kelce moves the chains. He keeps drives alive. That's what he does. And for running back, Pacheco is better than Cook. Period. Period. Pacheco's better than Cook. And and Kansas City's offensive line is better than Buffalo's.
Because they can get away with holding every play.
No, Kansas City's line is good. They're better than Buffalo's. Buffalo's offensive. Talk about a team that's injured. Look at Buffalo, Freedom Fun Adventure. Look at how many injuries Buffalo has. And they still steamrolled that shit pile in Miami. Just steamrolled them. Blew them right out of the water.
Grumpy is
Destroyed them.
heated tonight.
Crushed them.
Grumpy's got that birthday flyer going on.
Miami can't beat Buffalo. They can't even beat a winning team. And I'm rooting for them. I hope they break their their inability to beat a winning team this year. I hope they do against Kansas City. I do. I hope they do. They won't, but I hope they do.
Nice comment there, X.
I agree with D-Cut says, I agree with TJ on this one. Mahomes is better than Josh.
X, if you start starring comments, I'll take over the popping up of these. Joseph
says, yeah, Diggs is twice the wide receiver anyone Kansas City has. Davis has more talent than anyone the Chiefs have, but he doesn't. He's a non-entity most times.
If
I'm not saying he's not talented. He shows up 3 times a year. That's
Gabe
all
Davis
he
would be
does.
the best. The Gabe Davis would be the best wide receiver on that Kansas City core.
Okay, but
That's my point.
You know what? Here's the thing: if you're not consistent, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
If you're not a consistent player, it does not matter.
Drew L.
Drew says Kansas City not being able to score is another reason why I believe in Hal. He has the weapons, and Eric Bieniemy made Mahomes. I disagree. How is it? Mahomes is a really good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. It's Andy Reid. Hal needs an offensive line. He has the weapons. And now I will say that wide receiver weapons, I think that Washington, once again, is better than Kansas City. Kansas City's wide receiver room is not good.
They're
not.
awful. You feel like they've got a trade to add a few wide receivers this deadline, right?
Good luck. Good luck trying to find a wide receiver who can learn your system. That's why they picked up Hardman from the Jets. They knew they didn't have it, and that's the best they could do. Why? Because he's played in their system before. You need guys who played in the system. It's tough to integrate them mid-year. Just tough. Tony Cheese said Mahomes had the flu. Suck it up, bitch. Stop. I think Taylor gave it to Brittany.
Do you know what that means, Grumpy?
Taylor gave it to Brittany. Taylor. Oh, Taylor. Oh,
Swiftie.
Taylor. Oh, Travis.
Taylor Swift. And
Oh,
who's
Taylor
Brittany?
Swift gave it to Brittany. Oh, that's right. That's very possible.
Who's
Trailer.
Brittany?
Trailer.
Brittany's his trailer trashed.
Bro, X, don't give him any hints. He would have no idea.
I know Brittany is. I was trying to think who the hell Taylor was.
Grumpy had no idea.
Andrew L says, Son X, are you really using Kadarius Toney and Mercole Hardeman as a better weapon than Gabe Davis? LOL.
It's pathetic.
Gabe Davis is not that good of a wide receiver.
He's not.
Oh, my
There's-
God.
He shows up 3 times a year. That's it. And if you're a fantasy owner, you just better hope that you're starting in
You're
one of
not
the weeks
talking
he
about
shows up.
fantasy sports.
Guess what? If he's not putting up fantasy numbers, it means that he's not putting up any real stats either. He's not that good. He's not that good. He had that big AFC semifinal game where he caught 3 touchdowns. He was tremendous. I think it was against Kansas City. And then they want to find some other way to lose to Cincinnati. But here's the thing. Every single game, he's not consistent. You need consistency. It's most important.
Next comment we get here, Grumpy, is from Tony Cheese.
Thanksgiving must be a nightmare at their house. He's probably
I don't
talking
know if
about
it's our house, Grumpy, or
I think
that's
he's talking about the Mahomes house.
probably Sean Woodda, Grumpy.
You know, I love you, Grumpy, but your Giants pissed away that game. They did. They did. Drew says, like I said, Buffalo should have traded up for Breece Hall. They messed up big time. I can't believe Hall was a second-round pick. Well, he played in Iowa. Running backs really don't get picked in the first round anymore. The big mistake that the Bills made was not trading for Christian McCaffrey last year. He went for nothing. A couple of seconds.
First and then some.
A couple of seconds and a third. He didn't go for first. A couple of
Yes, he did.
seconds. No, he did not. It was a couple of seconds and a third. Maybe they threw it a
Really that
fourth.
little?
Yeah, exactly. That was a steal for San Francisco. And we were saying Buffalo should have been going after him. That's what they need. They need a running back. He would fit perfectly in their system.
They gave up a second-round pick in 2023, a third-round pick in 2023, and a fourth-round pick in 2023, a fifth in 2024.
Yikes.
Second,
Like-
third, and fifth.
And different years. Yeah.
Just,
How's that work out?
just to let you know, Gabe Davis has over 100 more yards receiving than any other receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs team.
He's had 2 good games this year. 2 good games.
Still better numbers as being the
He's
second
had-
option in
I'm not-
Buffalo than any
I-
other
I-
receiver.
I didn't say that Buffalo. I said Buffalo had the better receivers. I did say that.
Okay.
But Kansas City's got Travis Kelce. I think Travis Kelce's better than Stephon Diggs.
Joseph C.
Grumpy just has this love affair with Tom Brady that no one can come close to his favorite quarterback. Well, tell me when someone actually does. Tell me when someone actually does. Then we'll talk. I'll probably be dead
Once
by then.
again, the sentiment Bills had better receivers there, Andrew L says. I think we've established that now. Johnny Mack, Grumpy.
Good evening, boys. Just finished coaching my high school team. We're 5-0 to start the season. Very good. Wow.
There it is, Johnny Mack. Round of applause. What a films, Grump.
TJ, I noticed you're turning into a grumpy old man. Love it. Son X, you're the spitting image of your dad. Actually, he looks more like my dad. Way more than I do.
Wow.
Andrew
Andrew
L.
L.
I thought it was a broken hand as well. It ended up being a rib injury.
Okay,
Talking
gotcha.
about Tyrod Taylor, and he also went to the hospital.
Yep.
Andrew L says, Grumpy, come on. I'm not even a Mahomes guy, but it's obvious Mahomes is going to be a first ballot. Okay, if his career ended today, he's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Thank you very much. We'll keep
You
moving.
have to play for a while. You can't just play 5 years and say, oh, I'm a Hall of Famer. It's not the way it works. Drew says, and I'm not saying he won't make the Hall of Fame or won't be in the Hall of Fame. If his career ended today, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. You got to play it out. Drew says Buffalo could have traded a second, a third, and a fourth for Hall. I would argue that's great value for one of the few workhorse backs left in the NFL. Okay.
I'd rather take McCaffrey at that price.
Hall was hurt last year with the knee injury. He had a couple of good games before he got hurt last year, without a doubt. And he's had a couple of good, I don't think he was great today, but he had a good game, a couple of good games this year. But to say he's a workhorse back, I don't know. McCaffrey's a better fit. Johnny Mac says, War Eagle Grump, go Auburn.
There it is. Little War Eagle action, grumpy old man. Drew L.
Josh Palmer's injured. It's Quentin Johnson time.
Oh, my God. He didn't play tonight. Oof. I had him in my fantasy team.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, what the hell, Son X is kind of sensitive in a way that's kind of sociopathic in another way. I doubt the Giants will fire the staff, but will the Jets? No. Good. Grumpy, what was the best sports performance you witnessed from TJ and Son X each? Also, of the two, who behaved more like a hot-headed jock in the heat of battle?
X was more hot-headed, right?
Absolutely, X is more hot-headed, without a doubt. X has a kind of an explosive. He's really even-keeled, but he's got an explosive temper. Absolutely, he takes after me like that. The best performance. I mean, gosh, Son X had so many great baseball games that it's hard. Honestly, it's hard to count. And TJ was, he was tremendous playing the offensive line. He really was.
Yeah, especially when they were calling his number out over the loudspeaker. Holding.
Oh, I don't think.
X's best performance was a game where he made a good defensive play and had 4 groundouts. That was a good X performance. That's probably the highlight of his career.
Defensive play. Got to look at the positives.
Not true. Now, I just want to say one thing. TJ, I don't think, did you ever have a holding penalty?
Yes.
Okay, I don't.
Well,
TJ was
false starts.
TJ was notorious. He'd have a false start every single game. Every single game. Every game in high school and college. Every game he'd have a false start.
Not every game.
So we could have put together a real good footage package of TJ with his false start.
74. Push it to the left. False start number 74 offense. In high school, it was every single game. And we'd like to have it early because it would just be one. But he'd have one every game.
Goon Grumpy, let's keep fucking reading comments.
Today is Grumpy's 35th birthday. I challenged TJ and Son X to sing him the hit song "Happy Birthday" in falsetto voices. They don't even know what that is. Give the viewers what they want.
Happy birthday to you.
See, that's not a falsetto voice.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Jesus.
Dear Grumpy.
Okay, falsetto is not.
I don't care.
That was beautiful.
Was not Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket. Happy birthday, Grumpy. Did TJ and X even remember? They both did, but there's been a reshuffling of the family pecking order. After who wished me a happy birthday first moves to the top of the list. Now, it's like I said, just a snapshot in time. TJ came in behind the dog. That's all I'm going to say.
Grumpy, here's the thing. I called Grumpy's abode early in the morning. Grumpy was not awake. What a shock. So when I called him later, he finally had a chance to pick up, but everybody else had a chance to say happy birthday when they finally were able to talk to him.
I called
Grumpy
TJ.
was too busy in snoozy land.
I called TJ.
I was busy, Grumpy.
I'm busy, but he didn't say, hey, happy birthday, but I'm busy right now. But
I'm busy. I'll call you back.
It wasn't until his wife got home later that he said happy birthday.
That is not true either. That's just not true.
This.
Goon.
Goon says, TJ, what is the difference between a bass guitar and a traditional guitar?
Bass guitars are usually rounder and they've got longer strings. Traditional guitars have shorter strings.
What sound does one make and what sound does the other one make?
Dome. Bass
Which
guitar,
one's that?
Traditional guitar plays all over the place. What?
Nothing. Just funny.
TJ thinks a bass guitar is a cello. Drew says Bryce Young is good. He just needs a better O-line and weapons. Thielen can't be his number one. I'm with Grumpy there. Also, they should just cut Miles Sanders already. Hubbard already took his job.
I don't think he's better than CJ Stroud, though. Yep, he's
He is.
not.
You'll see.
Goon Grump.
Are the Islanders back on track? No. Or is there an impending sneak attack? Yes.
Impending sneak attack. You know what they're called? Just like the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. When they play teams with winning records, they don't win games.
Yeah, they haven't beaten any teams with a winning record this year either.
Goon.
Google says, I wasn't clear last night. A comment. Here it is again. Is it clear the Isles have the best goaltending tandem in hockey, or should they both be shipped to Milwaukee? Maybe Milwaukee? Is that what he wanted to say?
Milwaukee, Grump.
I didn't answer it last night. I
The
won't
best
answer.
goalie tandem. Boston has the best goalie tandem.
Boston. There we go.
Charges up 14-0, says James F. D-cut, Grump.
Sam Howell much better than Little Hands Pickett. Kitten mittens.
He's not. Sam Howell is. He's gonna Pickett is a game manager. That's what he's gonna be, and that's what I think Sam Howell projects to be too. Neither of those guys are winning a Super Bowl. Just not happening. Joseph C. Grumpy old man.
Daniel Jones threw 4 touchdown passes in his first start, for what it's worth.
Daniel Jones blows. He out now blows. Drew L. Grumpy old man.
Still can't believe Malik Willis ever got an opportunity over Levis. Malik Willis and Tannehill are done. 100% agree.
Daniel Jones this year has 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the games he's played.
Haven't we moved on from Daniel Jones? Freedom Front Adventure says Sunex is a rabid ageist. Wow, he definitely won't be the one taking care of Grumpy and the Warden. That's for certain.
No. I have sympathy for old people. I do. But at the same point in time, I don't think that they should be officiating NFL games. Sorry.
But let's talk about that really quickly. Talk about the officials. Now, Mike Tomlin, I don't know if you watched the game. Kenny Pickett went out with injury. And they were upset a little bit regarding roughing the passer calls. I'll let you watch them and I'll let you watch the exchange Mike Tomlin here. Oh my God, that's a tight. Jesus Christ. That's impossible to see. Long story short.
Talking with the girl ref.
Was that X? Grumpy?
I said he's talking with the girl ref. You're just wasting your time there.
Grumpy, play nice, Grump. This was the hit, right? This is the hit. It was not called a roughing the passer unnecessary force, and their one earlier was called when it should not have. It was a clean form tackle against Trevor Lawrence. This was not called roughing the passer or driving the body into the passer, whatever bullshit they call it these days. Ball's out.
Ball's gone. He did not need to take him down. That's a penalty in today's NFL. That's
He slams his body down. He starts whoop, and he definitely lunges into him. Nothing was called there. This is what Pickett got hurt on. And this is Tomlin, who was less than happy with it. Let me be honest with you. The ref. He says, what the fuck's wrong with you all today? It's pathetic. I'm telling you.
They have another freaking woman on the referee crew. I mean, they can't keep up with the game. They suck. All they do is fuck up calls every week.
I heard Grumpy is a very big fan of them.
They
he actually wants
suck.
more of them. He wants
diversity
actually
hires
more
for
men
NFL
officiating
games. That's what we need. More freaking women in the sport of football.
So Grumpy, for your
Stop.
birthday wish, you want all women as referees for the
My
NFL
God,
games?
they're the worst.
I can get in
officials
contact
the
with Goodell
history of
for
the
you.
game.
I was asking Grumpy earlier today. I said, Grumpy, when they finally have the first all-female officiating crew, can we do a live stream and record your reaction, Grumpy? You could talk about how great of a job they're doing.
Anything goes. It'll be like rollerball. They don't know what to do. All they do is stand there. What should we do? What should we do? They won't have some man come in there to straighten it out for them like they do now.
The one thing I'll talk about regarding officiating, and now here's the thing. We're hard on officials in all sports, especially the NFL, because it's the most lucrative of all professional sports. A lot of these guys who make in the NFL, it is a long and arduous process to become an NFL official. I could just tell you because I officiated for like 6 or 7 weeks, and then I was like, not for me. But do you remember, Grumpy, when I did that?
I do remember. Your
But I
extensive knowledge.
officiated.
What was your extensive nature like in those 6 or 7 weeks?
It was great.
It's still more training than those women had.
No, that's not the case. But here's the thing. So these guys, how you become an NFL official, you start by going to a local officiating seminar where you meet, and depending on the matter of expertise you have and prior experience determines on where you officiate. If you have not played at a collegiate level or higher, they start you off officiating in middle school games. If you've played in high school or above, maybe you get a JV game. And if you've played in college, you get to go varsity first. But for all of these officials, you have to start off officiating varsity high school football. Then, depending on how you perform, you get to officiate in a college game. And we're talking about Division III or Division II, not upper tier. And then depending on how you officiate in Division II or Division III, you get moved to 1AA, and then you get moved to Division I, and then you get moved to the NFL. It's not like, hey, we're wanting women to officiate in the sport, and it's like, here's the spot. There's a pecking order where you need a lot of experience, a lot of games that you do, so you're at the top level. And think about how many of these male officials have had a lot of experience and still suck ass.
And here's the thing:
officiating
all the women suck.
It's been like
Every
5 years.
single one of them.
How could you expect them to be at the level? They don't have the experience, but they're being put in that spot. It just doesn't. It never makes sense.
Keep up with the pace of the game. That's the biggest problem.
I don't think it's
They
that. It's
cannot keep up with the pace of the game. They're always lagging behind. They got the fat women out there running. Stop. The era of the fat official is over.
Stop.
It's over.
Lovely. They have a lot of fat men officials too.
Not
Please.
anymore.
Yes,
Not
they
anymore.
do.
You see
The only requirement is they gotta use a walker. The only
And
requirement
every
is they gotta
every
use a
single
walker.
week, they
That's it.
fuck up a big call every week. When I
They
look
have
at
to have an
sidelines-
oxygen tank out there in the field,
When-
2X.
Here's
Yep.
what I see. And here's the thing: the coaches don't want to yell at them because they're women. They don't want to yell at them. You can tell they're being so nice to them because they're women. Sean Payton, and they just keep on showing because it's like, here's Payton yelling at the useless woman. Here's Tomlin yelling at the useless woman. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. They suck. They suck. You know what? Get your own sport. Sorry.
The
If you
reason,
have,
the
here's the,
reason I was bringing that
I
up,
don't mind.
please stop.
I
Please
don't
stop.
mind if they have women's
Grumpy,
officials in
We've
the
let you run a
lingerie
little
league.
far.
No problem at all. Keep them out of the men's game. They can't keep up.
We like Grumpy run a little too far just because it was his birthday. All I was saying was I was trying to defend the females because they don't have the experience. That's it. And
There's
if
no
they had-
defense or incompetence.
if
don't
they
have the
had the
ability.
experience, they'd be better officials. That's all I'm saying.
No, they wouldn't.
You're going to be better over time. Just
They
going to take
suck.
time. But X, let's continue with comments before we let Grumpy run amok.
I'll be dead before they can become good officials.
Fuck.
Brian, New York says Oilers jerseys were fire.
Goon Goon Grump.
TJ, would you prefer to build a team around Will Levis or Zach Wilson?
Will Levis,
Will
Who is better
Levis.
at tantalizing MILFs? Well, that's Zach Wilson.
Zach
That's
Wilson all day.
See, that's the thing.
Easy.
Zach Wilson. I'm not picking anybody else over Zach Wilson when it comes to picking up the MILFs. He's established in that category. He's been doing it for years. Drew says, by the way, I don't know if you heard what Deion Sanders said about his team today. That dude is not a coach. I'm sorry, sucks. He's not a good coach. He's a good recruiter.
So, there have been a few coaches that have been saying some really questionable shit. The University of Pittsburgh, Pat Narduzzi said some really questionable shit too, where I'm like, he may have lost the room. Anyway, Joseph C.
It's still impressive. He's throwing and moving 5 weeks after an Achilles injury.
Rages.
Yep. Goon Goon Grump.
Gungun, shouldn't Bob Kraft have done a promotion with Friendlies to offer Pats fans a free Happy Ending Sundays after he caught with his pants down? That was a long time ago. So maybe back then, but not today.
And you can give it a Deshaun Watson coupon.
There you go.
Hey, the Deshaun Watson coupon is not actually able to be seen, despite him being all the guaranteed money. He never actually shows up.
What if films the problem with a woman playing men's sports, then men can play women's sports? Stop the insanity. Exactly. Lionel says, Bo Bodacious for Heisman.
How about
Who the
Bo
hell is
Nix?
Bo Bodacious?
Probably Bo
Nix.
Nix, right? What a film says,
Yes.
Grumpy, I guess you have to have the same age and experience like us to make sense of anything these days. What if there was a bad snap? Does the girl run away or get destroyed? First of all, they don't have the ability. How many women could throw the ball down the field like a man?
Next comment. Move on.
Can't
to the next
happen.
comment.
Stop. That's
Next
how they
comment,
throw
Grumpy.
like this. That's the way they're built.
Grumpy, next
Oh,
comment.
like
please.
this.
Next comment,
Like a
please.
different physiology. Drew says, yeah, the fact Madison can't even play behind Kirk Cousins this year says a lot about Madison. Cam Akers should be the full-blown workhorse. Yeah, Alexander Madison, since he's not running behind
Alvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook, he's really inefficient when he runs.
I have a question. It's kind of off topic. Do the NFL players get new helmets every game?
Yes.
Every game?
Yes.
It's a
I
multi-billion
didn't think
dollar
it was
industry.
every game.
What do you think they're going to go out there with scuffed up,
I
fucked
thought it
up?
was like maybe
helmets
once a
after being
week they
hit?
got a new helmet, or maybe
could
once
be
every
changed
couple
out.
weeks.
Nick, X in college, they get new helmets every game.
Really?
What they do is they repaint the helmets every single game. They take them in, like I would assume what they do is they take them in on Fridays. They go ahead after you do your walkthrough. They make sure they're painted, ready to go, or they have specific game helmets that they work on all week, and maybe have practice helmets that differ. At a small school, we wore the same helmets all the time, but in the NFL, you get a new helmet every game.
Gugud says, should Jets fans be proud of their team or ashamed?
Proud,
I think Jets fans should be happy with where the Giants stand right now.
absolutely.
Drew says TJ, Minnesota's quarterback is going to be Jared frickin' Hall. No shot Minnesota's making the playoffs now.
Who the hell is Jared Hall or Jaron Hall?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's my point.
I think you're going to see Justin Jefferson sit out for the rest of the year.
There you go. X made himself a statement right there. Gugu says, Grumpy, it's been a while since we've heard your fine singing voice. Can you please sing us for the Papa Ooh Mau Mau, Papa Ooh Mau Mau section of Surfing Bird? No, I can't do that.
Bird somewhere.
Look how that X, man, when he starts singing, he starts swaying that dinosaur neck.
The dinosaur neck.
Jack Tuttle says, who do you have more confidence in this weekend? LSU's defense or Alabama's offense?
Alabama's offense.
Okay. I'll go with that's a tough one. I'm gonna say LSU's defense just because I like to disagree with DJ.
Roll Tide roll.
Joseph C says, I went to the Rangers Flyers Winter Classic 2012. It was really fun. Nice to see hockey in the snow. Yeah, it has to be snowing.
Yeah. Snow makes it, honestly.
Gungu says, Coach Tommy B said those heritage games are for schlemiels. Did TJ pronounce that word eloquently? Well, I read the comments now because we need to get done. Drew says, TJ, how many times has Sam Howell been sacked this year? I never said he was a fantastic quarterback. That was just a tweet, but he's good.
He's average.
He's been okay this year. I mean, I don't think he's anything to write home about, but he's been okay. He's had good games and bad games, right?
He's got pretty good weapons there in Washington as well.
Drew says, I will reiterate once again, he needs an offensive line. True. Jets, Jets, but we had no business winning that game. LOL. True. Frank also says Ronaldo looked great for Portugal with the old pros coach from last year off the national team.
Piece of shit coach, by the way.
Ronaldo is still phenomenal. He scored a couple of kicks that Messi could not do. He scored a left boot kick from
Outside the box,
box.
throws it in, top
that had
ends.
to be what, 25 yards away? Upper 90 with his off foot.
And then he hit a volley with his left foot also. And that's
Right, and a fly ball volley with his left foot. Puts in. Here's the thing: Ronaldo could do with both feet. Messi can't. Like I said, there are things. Messi's great, but there is nothing that Messi can do that Ronaldo can't. But there's plenty of things that Ronaldo can do that Messi can't.
Let me ask you about this. How did Oklahoma lose to Kansas?
coaching.
Absolutely coaching. They played real tentative at the end, and it cost them. Anytime they pressured that quarterback, he was throwing the ball for
He
grabs.
threw interceptions on back-to-back drives, and then they stopped pressuring him and let him drive right down the field.
Lay
and
him
score.
back. And number 26, I think maybe thought he played for Kansas. He was disgraceful at the left cornerback.
He should get his scholarship revoked.
Yes.
To the streets. Goodbye.
Now the kid
awful.
I'm thinking Oklahoma's quarterback looked human, to say it nicely. Right?
I mean, he had the
threw
pick
himself
six
in the first drive.
Yeah, that was the first drive of the game. After that, he settled down.
He was good the rest of the game. He drove them down the field twice for where they needed to score a touchdown.
Remember,
They
their
scored
running
twice.
backs fumbled twice. He had one turnover, and then the running backs fumbled twice. Well, no, sorry, he had one turnover. Their running back fumbled the ball in their own red zone, and they had a muffed kickoff return, or I think it was a muffed kickoff return or a muffed punt in their own red zone.
Well, the reason I'm bringing it up here, you're going to have a 6-1 team, 2 6-1 teams playing in the Big 12 championship, Texas and Oklahoma. Do we think the win or 2 1-loss teams playing in the Big 12 championship? Do you think one of those teams, as long as they go undefeated the remainder of the season, makes the national or the college football playoffs?
Now, no.
Really?
No.
You don't think Texas could make it?
No, because they're going to you're going to have Ohio State and Michigan who are both going to, one of those teams are going to lose at the end of the year. And then I guess if they break even, I mean, you might have a 2-loss team. I think Oregon, if they win the Pac-12 championship, they're going to make it in.
Yes. I think, again.
And then you still have undefeated FSU, who, honestly hasn't played anybody all year.
All these teams are not going undefeated.
And
There's
Georgia,
a
who
lot more
hasn't
football
lost
to
yet.
play.
Georgia still has to play Bama.
How many undefeated teams usually are in the playoffs every year? One or
or
two tops.
One or two.
So you're going to see a lot of teams lose games along the way. And here's the problem with Michigan and Ohio State. They lose that last game of the year, they're done.
They don't play in the conference championship game.
Historically, you can lose a game early and still build up your resume to be a Final Four team. You cannot lose at the end of the year.
I'll say I think you're going to see if Texas and Oklahoma face off in the Big 12 championship, Texas is going to beat the shit out of Oklahoma.
Yes.
I think you're going to see that happen.
Yes, I agree. I think Oregon wins the Pac-12. Oregon punches a bid. I'll be interested to see what happens for Georgia and Alabama, right? Let me ask you how this throws a wrench into things. If Georgia loses the last game of the season, again, or not the last game, let's say Georgia loses to Alabama, do they still make it?
Now, so they would not make the SEC championship game?
If they lose to Alabama, probably they won't.
To me, no, because Texas has beaten Alabama.
I'm looking up. I'm sorry. That would have to be in the championship game. They don't play Alabama this year until the championship. They play number 14 Missouri on Saturday, then number 11 Mississippi, number 19 Tennessee. They don't play. This is when their schedule starts to get a little tough. But let's say last game of the season, right? Alabama has one loss. Georgia goes in undefeated to the championship game. Georgia loses to Alabama. Will they do the same thing they've done in years past and put 2 SEC teams in?
They could. But here's the thing. You're going to have Michigan or Ohio State. One of the two of them is going to be undefeated. They'll make it.
Well, here's the thing. Penn State still has to play Michigan. Maybe Penn State. It's a home game for Penn State. Happy Valley. Maybe they'll finally beat another top 10 team under James Franklin.
Okay. But one of the teams, the Big Ten will have a representative this year.
Sure.
I think that the Pac-12 is going to have a representative this year. I think the SEC is going to have a representative this year. And I think the Big 8 is just better than the ACC.
Big 12.
Big 12, sorry.
It is.
In the old days.
I think ACC sucks this year.
The ACC is not good. I don't think Florida State's going undefeated.
That's the only thing that could stop them.
Who do you see them as losing to?
Anybody. I don't think they're that good. Okay. They were lucky to beat Duke. They've been lucky.
Duke didn't have their starting quarterback.
They're not that good. The ACC is just a bad conference. They're a bad conference. Florida State will somehow manage to lose a game. They're
losing this upcoming weekend to Pittsburgh, baby.
That's not happening.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. All right, let's continue with comments there, X. What are you watching, X?
Watching Justin Herbert throw a shitty throw to Eckler.
Frank says Holland is miles better than little douche Meg Messi.
Woo!
That's true. Drew says, so far my Texas Rangers pick back in July is still going strong. Yep. Johnny Mack says, Grump, I think any college player that plays more than 4 years should be ineligible for the Heisman. Hint, Bo Nix. What do you think?
Wow.
I don't know if you're eligible, you're eligible.
Yeah.
Frank says, once again, he should actually be rewarded since he stayed in school all that time instead of bailing. Frank from Empire State says, once again, Zach Wilson battled out 2 huge plays with less than a minute to save the team. He's unreal in the final minute. Yes, he played bad overall, but the 5th string center didn't help. Rain ruins games as well. True. D-Cut says, I am boycotting all shows until X is taking off comments patrol. He's holding a personal grudge towards D-Cut. Is that true,
Is
X?
this true X?
He says
Not
no.
true. False.
Jack
False.
Tunnel says, I agree with Nick. Jeter is more famous than Reggie Jackson and Grumpy. People know OJ, but for the wrong reason. OJ was a huge star back in the day, doing the Hertz commercials and his name. He was
Okay, everybody who knows OJ Simpson nowadays knows him for the shit that he did.
Understandable. How many athletes can you say transcend sports from 100 years ago? Who? Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali.
Connor McDavid,
No.
Pele.
Pele,
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody knows who
Okay.
Pele is.
Okay. Pele.
Cristiano and Messi will.
No.
They will.
Cristiano is the most liked professional athlete of all time. What are you talking about?
Okay. But now I'm not saying he doesn't.
Michael Jordan.
I'm just saying about, from like 50, 60, 70 years ago. Michael Jordan, yes.
Will be. And I think LeBron James will be as well.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, LeBron James will be.
Okay, but that's a small number, right? Really small. D-Cut says, fire Nick. Who's Nick? Hire Goon and Drew L. Ooh. Goon says, can anyone explain how the Broncos lost to the Jets yet beat the Chiefs? Hey, on any given Sunday, right? That's what it says.
There it is.
Nick Azzato says, more people know Paulina Gretzky over Connor McDavid. That's for certain.
Jesus.
Frank from Empire State says, Jets beat the Chiefs, Goon. In my book, the league stole it with the BS call and not calling blatant holding on the Chiefs. They couldn't lose because Swifty was in the house. She mails the NFL extra dollars.
She's paying.
Probably females.
Mm-hmm. Drew says, TJ demands attention and time. You know what the viewers, Grumpy and X, demand. For you to actually be on time, you tyrant.
Whoa, DJ.
Okay.
Clap back right there. Sit down.
Tweet is sent.
That's the famous tweet.
Helen Yeller, what's up, boys? Eric Bieniemy made Mahomes disagree. Frank says he's missing Tyreek Hill big time. I agree. What a Film says, nice job, X. You got game. Drew says, you wanted to get in X's, get him to put your comments in. All you got to do is kiss his ass. That's all you got to do. Drew says, the amount of arrogance TJ reeks is more than skunks on a daily basis. Yeah, that's it. Arrogance. Look at his face. He even looks arrogant, doesn't it? Like, it's disgusting, says Drew. Just the arrogance is disgusting. It reeks. James Farrell says, guys, thoughts on Tuesday's Islander game, win or loss? I thought they played on Monday.
They play Monday. It's going to be a win against Detroit. This is the tweet that Drew put out here. It was a little gator in the yard.
Oh, found one of my local
golf course.
Okay.
That's a little swamp puppy right there.
Yep. Okay. Big Islanders fan says, I did not realize Cousins tore his Achilles. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Drew says, I think Miami can beat Kansas City if Willie Gay is out. Gay got injured against the Broncos earlier today. Gungun says the Jets apparently tried to outdo the Islanders today with taking a ton of dumb penalties. Milo Brownie says, Grump, since the next podcast isn't until Wednesday, what's your prediction on tomorrow's Islanders-Wings game? With 3 straight losses, the Wings look due for a win. They do. I think Sorokin will play, and I think that's the difference. I just think he's just so good. I think we can beat lesser teams. We just can't beat, playoff type teams.
We might be live Wednesday. It may be Saturday. Be on the lookout for updates on the Islanders podcast there. Joseph C. Grumpy.
Dolphins fans talk so much shit. Meanwhile, they haven't won a playoff game since 2000.
Right?
Gungun says, was last night the first show that TJ didn't have to spill his bladder? It might have been.
Maybe.
James Farrell says, what I like about the show is you, TJ. You read all comments and we don't have to pay you or this show like some other podcast that I was listening today. Ridiculous to have to pay a host to get your comment read. That's one thing TJ has always been. And we can't read every comment because it's just gets too long.
X
But
does a good job of helping us.
that's
He does a great job.
That's one thing TJ is always. If TJ had his druthers, every single comment would be read. But we can't go. Sometimes we get 1,000 comments, and it's just not time efficient. You just can't do it. But TJ, we're never going to charge for comments. Frank from Empire State says the Finns don't even compete with good teams. They aren't close to the Jets. Wow. Derek Monroe, we know him. Grumpy. On October 2nd, 2022, Mahomes played Brady. Please tell me who won that game. Was that a playoff game? Oh, no, it wasn't. It was a regular season game. Full stop. Playoff game. The ones that really count. Playoff games. The one advance or you go home. You know who didn't beat Brady? Mahomes. That's who. Didn't beat him. Couldn't beat him. We'll never be able to beat him. 1,000 winning percentage for Tom Brady. Mahomes, 0.
The Isles, big Isles fan, Grumpy.
Brady was the greatest quarterback in football history. Thank you very much. Coach Bill stepped in shit when Mo Lewis knocked out Drew Bledsoe. Absolutely. He was on the hot seat. He had a terrible year the year before. They were 6-10. They were 0-2 to start the year. And the incredible Brady saved everyone's life.
They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a 10-year, $100 million contract.
But Brady, well, the rest is history, as they say. Joseph C. says, if the Jets had any offense, they'd kill the Dolphins. Tua sucked against the Jets last year. He sucks against a lot of teams. Come on. Drew says, Grumpy, please let your emotions. You're way better at not being a tyrant about them. TJ, sit down for his own. Joseph C. says, still don't know how the Chiefs passed on DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason. Mahomes restructured his deal anyways.
I think they're going to add pieces at the deadline. They have to.
I don't think they might, but not anything is going to make a difference. I think it's hard.
Yeah.
Not for an offensive weapon. Freedom Fun Event says, Grumpy, yesterday, while researching new guitars, I came across Brian Stetzer from the Stray Cats, new line of Gretches. Did you ever see them? I did not. They were a Long Island band. I was moved out of Long Island. Or maybe I was there at the beginning of their careers. I'm trying to think. But yeah, I mean, Stray Cat, they were pretty good. Stray Cat Strut, good. Here we go. Lionel says, fun fact of the day, a goalkeeper has more goal contributions in World Cup KO stage game than Salandro, Benchaldo, Quachaldo, and Messi. He should probably change that stat by not picking thorns out of his tush. I don't even know what that means, Lionel.
We're talking about a little tournament there for the World Cup. I don't know. Tougher to win Euros than it is a World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
You play a tougher team every single game. There's no, I'm playing Saudi Arabia or South Africa. You're playing Spain and Netherlands and France.
Italy,
It's a way tougher
Germany.
tournament. Why don't you tell us how great the Copa America is? Stop. Freedom
Right.
Fun Adventure says, last year, Miami was in the playoffs, you mook. TJ, get your ass to Crunch Fitness. Uh-oh. Alexander says, we are going to beat Kansas City next week. The Broncos put the blueprint out there.
Hold on. What type of snide comment did somebody make about Crunch Fitness?
They said you need to get your ass to Crunch Fitness, TJ.
I think it was Freedom Fun Adventure, wasn't it?
Look at that bastard. Ugh.
Alexander chimes in once again. Time to finally admit the Dolphins are for real. No, Alexander. They have to be the team. They have to be some teams with winning records.
The Goldfish fans will disappear next weekend when they lose again. And we're not going to hear anything. Anytime, you know what? When they beat up on teams like the Panthers and teams like the Giants, as soon as they play teams like the Rapids, they get killed.
They beat up on the Broncos too, and the Broncos beat up on Kansas City.
Broncos have 3 wins. They're killing it this year.
Did they have 3 wins?
Yeah, Broncos, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You beat the
They said-
Bears and you beat some other shitty squad.
Drew says, Grumpy gets it. Fantasy football is equivalent to reality football.
Ugh.
Grumpy knows.
Drew says, TJ Palmer was playing, but he got severely injured.
Oh, God.
Got a Booby Miles injury. He's done for his life. Freedom Fun Adventure says, false info to try to win. TJ does that move constantly. Williams, Armstead, Wynn, all didn't play. Hunt and Lamb left the game.
Leaving the game does not mean, by the way, you did not play in the game. You played in the game, but were injured in the game. There's a difference, but continue.
Those are all just offensive linemen. A chain, Brooks, Howard, Needham out. Who's Brooks and Needham? What are these benchies? They're scrubsies? Suck it, TJ.
It's a Shane and Mostert. Those are the two running backs.
That's
Shane's
right.
been out,
That's right.
but Mostert's been healthy.
Absolutely.
Mostert was maybe out for like what, a week?
He hasn't missed any time this year.
Oh,
Not-
okay. Then he's
not
been
any.
healthy the whole season. So
I got to pull this up.
Freedom Fun Adventure. James says, my girlfriend's birthday today. Hey, it's mine
Happy
too.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Drew says, TJ must have skipped foreplay a lot in high school with all those false starts. Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Cheap shot at TJ again.
There
Drew
it
says,
is.
although he came back into the game and looked like current day Julio Jones for a possession, that said, I'm taking a back seat. I don't know what
What
you're
that
talking
means.
about. Alexander says, happy birthday. Many, many blessings. Thank you, Alexander. Frank says, I hope we get Devonta Adams from the Raiders. He's not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. What a film was. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday on your birthday, Grumpy. Nice singing, guys. That was cool. We said happy birthday last night. Never Say Die podcast. Great show. Don't miss it. Thank you very much, Sean. Drew says, by the way, speaking of coaches, did you guys hear what happened between the Raiders and McDaniels? I did not.
I'll look that up.
And Alexander says, let's talk about how the officials screwed the Dolphins last Sunday.
Oh,
I sent you a video of all the missed calls.
Jesus.
What-
That's like, you know what the losers do when they get knocked season? Look at all these 15 calls. When they put it in slow-mo, I can see an infraction. You could do that for any team that looks that
Say
way.
that again. You sound like Urkel.
That's exactly how they sound.
That's exactly what you sound like. I'm sure there were no calls missed against Philadelphia, though. None. Just Dolphins calls were missed. I'm certain of that.
What
Drew
happened to
says,
Bruce Daniels?
Drew says, Peter Griffin did the bird. Is the word the best?
all right, well, I have to read through the other comments because I didn't get a
Josh
chance to
McDaniels apparently let Raiders players voice frustration in a cathartic team meeting. Let his
Okay, well,
players vent about the challenge of the start to the season. I'm telling you, he's a shitty coach. He's hideous.
you don't think that's a good thing to do?
He's a bad coach.
You don't think that's a good thing to do, though?
I think the room's lost. Just like I
Okay.
think with Pat and our duty for Pittsburgh, the room is
Do you
lost.
not think that's a good thing for a coach to do if things are starting to go south? Is let the players go out
It's
and talk?
too little, too late.
I think it's a good thing to do. Next comment, please.
TJ, can you do them because I'm starting them up?
What a Film says a girl played on our high school football team in 1986. She wanted to play. We had some crazy discussions in class, but no shit. 2 weeks into the year, she broke her collarbone. End of story.
My little brownie.
Max Van Stompen wins again today, Grumpy. Yeah. He's the best.
Alexander.
Alexander says, Grump, if it wasn't for Frank Clark being offsides, Brady would have lost. Stop. But he didn't. He was offsides. He was offsides. Sorry. He was offsides. It's like saying, hey, if that guy didn't catch that touchdown pass, they would have lost. But they didn't. They won. Freedom Front Adventures. And here's the thing. The Patriots absolutely dominated and outplayed Kansas City in that game. Freedom Front Adventure says Georgia is SEC East, Bama's SEC West, so they could both make SEC championship game. And let's be honest, screw diversity. Hard to find two teams for the NCAA championship. Alabama's not that good. Sorry, they're not.
It should be Georgia, Texas, Oregon, and either Ohio State or Michigan. Those are the four teams I want to see in this
I
year.
think it's going to be Michigan this year. I think Michigan is going to.
Yeah, I think Michigan makes it in.
I think Michigan's team.
They still
Drew
have to
says-
beat Penn State.
Drew says Colts honestly should knock on his door in case Anthony Richardson gets hurt again. Colts will lose Gardner Minshew to free agency. I don't know who he's talking about getting. Drew says, despite how bad the Bears have played today, Tyson Bagent is going to be a serviceable backup QB. I think he's better than Justin Fields as a quarterback.
James F. Grump.
TJ, I really think Penn State beating Michigan, they barely beat Indiana.
I don't think they can beat Michigan. I'm just saying Penn State is not a walkover team. You have
Oh.
easy opponents. Penn State's not an easy opponent.
Another guy who transcends sport, Tiger Woods. Agree.
Sure. Yep. Good point.
Drew says everyone hates the Jets for injuring Drew Bledsoe. LOL. Well, the old Jets fans do. Woodard says, nice job, X, for recognizing the hockey players. Just getting to know you, and you know what you're talking about. Great show, guys. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Alexander says, no, they don't, Grump. Yet we beat up on the Broncos, and then the Broncos beat Kansas City today, and New England beat Buffalo. And Buffalo beat Miami.
Fuck. You have yet to beat a team with a winning record all season long.
True.
I've never seen somebody celebrate that. And guess what? When you lose to Kansas City, we'll hear some new freaking excuse. And here's the thing. I think that is a freaking toss-up game. I don't give a shit who wins. You do not beat teams with winning records. It's that simple. You just don't.
True. Don't do it.
Rest in peace, Matthew. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry, says Lionel Messi.
X, have you ever heard of the show Friends?
Yes.
Do you know any of the characters?
Oh God. I haven't watched it, but I know of it.
The answer is he knows
Ross
just
is one.
Ross is one. Everyone knows
Chandler.
Ross.
I knew Ross.
Chandler is another one. That was Matthew Perry who died.
TJ didn't know him.
Who the
He
hell
knew
is the other
Ross.
guy?
TJ
Joey's one, right?
Joey Tribbiani, correct?
Tribbiani.
Shit, I can't remember any of the chicks'
Monica
names.
Geller, Phoebe.
I know.
He doesn't know Friends, just like I don't know Friends.
But here's the thing.
I never
You know what he
watched
didn't-
the show.
You know what he didn't say? He's like, I know Ross, and I know Ross. I'm like, oh, stop. And Ross, I know Ross.
Drew said, "Don't
Okay.
respect Steve Urkel. He can play some basketball."
Oh, wow.
Alexander.
Alexander says, TJ really the loser mentality, 0 penalty calls when there was a shitload of missed calls that impacted the game.
There were no penalty calls in the entire game. Is that what I'm to believe? Do I need to pull that up? Because I don't believe that's true.
Just pull it up while I read the next two things here. Alexander says, and that was a 14-point swing because of the refs. No. Here's the thing. Miami is not as good as Philly. They can't beat teams with winning records. Can't get it done. Sorry.
That's
Milo Brownie says, X, congrats on the engagement. Can't wait to see you in the basement like TJ once you're married.
Thank you so much.
Oh, good gracious.
Are you pulling up that or are we done?
I'm getting it pulled up. That's correct, Grumpy.
Because
Give
I'm
me a
interested to see if there were actually any penalty calls. It's very unusual to have a game with no penalty
I'll say one
call
thing.
on
I'm
either side.
pissed with the way the Chargers are running their offense right now. Pissed.
There were actually 0 penalties against the Philadelphia Eagles. I stand corrected.
What about the Dolphins? Were there penalties on them?
There were 10 infractions for 70 yards.
Well, you know what? It sounds like maybe they weren't coached well enough to not commit those penalties.
I'm shocked, by the way, that there was 0 penalties called against the Eagles. Still, the Eagles were the better team.
They're a better team. They're a better team. How
I
many
need
points did
Austin
they give up?
Eckler to. I need Austin Eckler to catch a couple more passes, and I'm set. They're just not. They're not giving him the ball.
Fuck. Because they're up by 30-7.
I know. If he busts out one run, I'm set. One run.
Let's
that's all I
wrap
need.
this thing up. Grumpy X, we're here at the end. What do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up?
Just want to thank everybody for coming out, listening to the show as always. Had a great show, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be live with you this upcoming Thursday in all likelihood. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Grumpy. Thank you so much, Son X. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. We'll see you guys probably Thursday. Thank you.